ghost in the shell, I'm a light in the attic, and I'm quite the dramatic. I'm in it for the attention, ready to ascend and transcend dimensions. Alignment is just a part of the process, and lately I've been making some progress. I'm finding that defining the balance of good and evil and people is nearly an impossible conquest. Regardless, stay CG, only way I know how to be. When I combine my child with OTIC, an outlaw like I'm Robin H-double-O-D. I made it through the rubble, now they got trouble with me. A glass cannon is a character that can put out obscene damage very quickly, but is also incredibly frail. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, I'm a glass cannon. If your objective is blatant confrontation, then you haters have greatly underestimated my station. I dominate with divination, I conquer with conjuration. I'm bonkers with evocation, I'm astonishing at abjuration. Patiently waiting for my invitation to help alleviate my already unbelievable reputation. No conversation, the brains of the operation, the pain of the population contained in a concentration of a spell slot. I got 27 in the clip, missiles emitting from my fingertips like warships. That's a handgun, damn son, shooting from the hip. Only one using telekinesis to get a grip. Cantrips waiting to be cast off. Prismatic wall, make 'em all blast off. Cackling my ass off, incapacitating them with laughter. Yazzik ain't the caster you wanna go after. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, I'm a glass cannon. Anyone wanting to interfere can get weird and witness your worst fears in a 30-foot sphere. I don't care if you're a barbarian or a cavalier. Kick it into high gear, let me make myself clear. The pioneer, I can make your peers disappear. Send them to the ethereal plane as if they were never here. Cheers roaring in my ears, dearly revered. I'm happy to domineer any volunteers. Sincerely out of control, top of the totem pole. My cone of cold is freezing them fire trolls whole. I got the strap, just looking to trap souls. I've been snapping my firebolt, leaving smoldering holes. It's incredibly difficult not to acknowledge me. I am a prodigy, you'll read about me in your mythology. No apologies, I'm impossible to demolish. Consider this admonishing, second guessing my polish, you bitch. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, my glass
we're back on Tumblr again,
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to the Bard's Playhouse Presents Tales from Shadow Valley, Season 2, Episode 11, The Hunt for Red Orc Toba. Thank you so much for joining us. Now let's bring in our wonderful cast. We have Eldritch as Khan, the Bloody Rizzolo.
Always great to be here.
Shane as Umbromancer Zavid.
Red October, seriously.
Yeah, I created 2 NPCs and a side quest just to make that joke. Red Orc
Okay.
Toba.
He is reluctantly here.
We've got Abe as Sir Demirius, Saradre's Grief.
Yeah, I am sick, so please excuse me if I am in and out.
Yeah, not a problem. And we have Elliot as Reese.
Hi, I'm back, and I'm gonna cause gay panic.
Oh no.
As usual,
As always, I'm Lumpy Bronzearm and will be your DM for today. Last time, Lux Et Umbra reached the ground of Belkson. As Dani, Khan, and Zavid discussed the minutiae of breakfast pastries, Demirius heard something off in the distance. Putting his ear to a rock and asking for silence, Demirius's ranger training from his youth came flooding back. Screams, howls, and the sounds of wood smashing. Racing to aid, Dani and Zavid coordinated spells to speed and conceal their movements. It quickly became apparent what had happened. A merchant caravan carrying metal ores and ingots was raided and destroyed, each worker and mount killed. Lying dead near the carnage were a massive war boar and wolf, both with armor riveted into their bones. A sight that had become chillingly familiar. As they sought answers, Zavid heard a lone survivor. Lifting a destroyed wagon off of her with Cabriri's magics, the young woman was delirious and could only speak Orcish at first. Khan helped to ease her as she regained her faculties, and introduced herself as Glasha, a merchant from Wyvern Sting. The caravan had been attacked, and she did not see much. Having a local to give them a good word, Lux Et Umbra hitched the only remaining wagon to Rot Trot and made their way to Wyvern Sting. The massive walled city had dozens of armed guards stationed along the road and entrance. Glasha knew that Chieftain Hunduk's half-man, the only half-orc chief in all of Belkzen, would be interested in knowing about the caravan ambush. Within his fort, Chieftain Halfman introduced himself and his tiefling life partner Shaki to Lux Et Umbra. However, their eyes were immediately drawn to the tall, muscular frame of a golden-haired half-elf man standing at Hunduk's left hand. His eyes gave him away. There was no mistaking Dani's brother, Mythanar Arion. Reunited at last, after a century apart, the brother and sister caught up. Explaining their great need to take Mythanar back to Druma, a deal was struck. Chieftain Halfman will release Mythanar from his service if Lux Et Umbra can find his daughter Toba, who had been missing for 3 weeks. Chasing another lead, the team sought out the Temple of Cassandali of Modern Time Artificers, a church responsible for the Artificers Without Borders charity. Within, they found 2 strange men, a gnome and an orc, calling themselves Sibling Norman and Sibling Grumadiah. It soon became clear these 2 have been under a mechanical thrall. Thinking quickly, Zavid short-circuited their mind control units with the same magic stored within. Norman and Grumadiah were thankful but confused, remembering little of what happened to them. Dani was able to poke deeper by reading their minds, but there are still many unanswered questions. Lux Et Umbra has overturned a stone and uncovered a creeping infestation beneath, within the hold of Belkzen. That's where we're coming in today, and I believe I forgot to share the maps, so there you all are. You were able to find, we kind of hand-waved you finding shelter because you're in the middle of a large city. We found shelter at the Come On Inn, a gnome-owned establishment on the northwestern side of town. And that is where you wake up in the morning.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Yeah.
And actually, I need for Zavid and Demirius to make me a wisdom saving, or will save in the tower, please.
Oh, cool.
Those are always fun, right?
That's not concerning at all.
Yeah.
Not in the least, right?
Wake up.
You know,
bed.
I feel like we have pretty high will saves.
You do,
Yeah.
you do.
In the tower.
Yes, please.
Buddy, 1 second, please.
Okay, I'm just sending you both a quick message really fast. Okay, that's it. So yeah, you wake up in the morning. It's just a regular day, and you, which of you would be up kind of first? It's usually Demirius, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I usually
Yeah.
do my morning prayers at dawn. For
Do
certain.
you, do you go outside of your room, or do you do them in your room?
Usually try to do it outside when
Okay.
it's coming up, but if there is no sun apparent.
That's fair. No, you're in a city, so you can see the sun, but it's kind of coming up behind buildings. The sun, you don't really see it for a chunk of the day in a large enough city, but I suppose you would be the first one to go into the main portion of the inn. And when you do, you see that there's already several orcs and gnomes sitting around having discussions in the main area, just having breakfast. The person who owns this place, the main gnome that you met last night, is working behind the bar, serving breakfast and brews to all of the patrons. His name is Fazgaz. You met him last night. But you do notice relatively quickly that sitting at one of the tables is both sibling Grimadiah and sibling Norman from the Church of Cassandali last night.
Just realized that you spelled Norman with a G at the start.
You just noticed that?
I just noticed that. You son of a bitch. You bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Norman with a G. This is why I do this, guys.
Love it. But we're still shaking our head.
As Demirius is leaving his abode, I wake up to hear the heavy footfalls on wood of through the hallway. And I creak open my door and see him kind of moving down, and just I'll grumble to myself and close the door with a little slam. And then if I don't have blackout curtains, I fashion blackout curtains out of something. I don't want the sunrise to wake me up.
Okay, yeah, you're able to relatively easily do that. There's plenty of extra blankets in this place, so you can kind of stuff them in all the little crevices inside your window and under the door to kind of get rid of all that dawn light that's been kind of waking you up this morning.
So
Yeah.
With these guys here, they're just minding their own business, and
Dad, come here.
orcs are they're separate, or are they?
They're sitting at a table talking, and as you see them, they notice you, and they both look to you, and they both are giving you that big smile they had yesterday. And I'd like to give me a perception check on that, please.
Okay.
Because you remember they had that really creepy smile that was very forced.
Yeah. But we kind of did something about that, but
We overloaded the batteries.
You notice that it doesn't seem as forced as last night. It looks like they are purposefully smiling. Whereas yesterday, it was almost as though an invisible force was pushing their mouth up into a smile. Now it just kind of looks like they're doing this on purpose to keep up the looks.
yeah, that's kind of what I was looking out for, is see if perhaps something changed with them. Maybe someone else showed up and decided that their batteries needed to be swapped out. That was my concern about the batteries actually being destroyed.
You notice that sibling Norman has like a bandage over on his head where the batteries were. So you get the idea that he might be hiding that they're broken. But they wave to you and they say, "Oh, sibling Demirius, a more glorious dawn to you. Please join us."
Dad, stop.
And again,
May the dawn welcome you.
that more glorious dawn thing just strikes you as so bizarre.
Yeah, that's...
It's yeah. But they say, "Oh, but before you leave, we just wanted to make sure." And they both kind of stand up, and Norman is standing on the bench, like sort of at your height, looking at you, and he says, we were so happy that all of you and your friends decided to show some interest in the Church of Cassandali of Modern Time Artificers. We thought we would bring over her holy word just personally." And he's looking at you like, "Please take this." Like even though he knows you're not a follower and he knows you have no interest in this book, he's
Okay.
your perception was high enough that you're picking up on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take it and thank them.
How wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you very much, sibling. And a more glorious dawn to you. And they both kind of quickly, once you take the book, kind of scoot out.
Okay. Now, did this happen on my way out to my daily rituals?
Yes.
Or okay.
They were there before you walked outside.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was on my way back in. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just ponder that, and once I find like a clearing to do the rituals, I'll no one's around and kind of take a look at things.
Yeah, you have more than enough room. There's a fairly large front area, as it's shown right there. There's a couple of potted plants, but for the most part, there's definitely enough room for you to do your scarf dance preparations. Let's go over to Khan. What are you doing first thing in the morning? You're probably the second one to wake up. You're usually an early riser.
Yeah. Making sure that all my equipment is functional.
As far as you can tell, yes.
Yeah. I know better than to try to wake up Zavid.
That is a very good point, yes.
Yeah. I guess noticing that like Demirius isn't up, I'll go see if I can find him. Make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
Okay. Yeah. Again, you walk out into the main area, and as I said, there's orcs here and there, gnomes here and there. There's the owner of the establishment taking drinks and food here and there. It's just kind of a mildly busy morning at an inn tavern, but nothing suspicious going on in there. And you happen to walk past a window and see Demirius doing his morning dances to the sun. Not a surprise once you notice where he's at.
Just making sure he doesn't wander off as he's wont to do. He's a wild card, that one.
So chaotic, that paladin.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out.
Watch out, he might surprise us someday.
The lawful ones are the ones you need to watch out for, because they're the ones who snap
Yeah.
hardest.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like
Running away.
I like look at my bag. I'm like, my jewels are all gone. And I look over, and he's like looking for these. Like, Demirius.
See,
You?
I've planted the Chekhov's gun, so it's up to you, Abe, to follow through on it.
We've seen the gun on the mantelpiece. Now it has to
Yes.
be used in Act 3.
Yes.
All right.
So that means what? You're going to take a dedication into like wild magic sorcerer? Because that would be rad. Eventually, Dani does wake up Khan, and she makes her way into the area with Arwen and Ares, and she orders some breakfast for her and the pets, and asks if you want anything.
Yeah, I'll join her.
You do notice that Reese and Mythanar, Dani's brother, have not waken up yet, and it's starting to get a little late in the morning. Dani hasn't picked up on this yet, though.
Yeah. Oh, Reese, that sleepy head.
What a sleepy scamp. Sleepy scamp.
That's a sleepy little scoundrel.
Is Reese just gonna like sleep with all of Dani's siblings?
We'll see.
Do you have like a bingo checklist?
Let's just say the dice rolls were in Elliot's favor when we did this in DMs. The dice were a little
Yeah.
ridiculous, so it's
The dice know my playbook.
yeah, the dice know Elliot. Never uses playbook. That's what's up. So, Zavid, you do finally stumble out of bed.
I float out the door on the aroma of like fresh cooked breakfast, and I gently land in a chair with cutlery in my hands.
It's different. It's kind of a fusion of orcish, gnomish cuisine. So it's got like barbecued meats, but with very like candy flavored toppings. Like imagine a honeyed ham, but like a really honeyed ham. Like sweet candied meats is sort of what's going on in this breakfast. It's different, but you like it. Maybe. I don't know if you like it actually.
As long as there's meat, I'm probably fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I eat a lot, and then I'm like, this is like a once in a long time type of meal. I couldn't have this every day. I'd get cavities. But yeah, he gorges himself on whatever the breakfast is. And
Yes, it's pretty good. Candied meats, as I said, and biscuits, that kind of fare. And Demirius, yeah, you eventually, when you're done with your preparations, come back inside, and breakfast they're ready for you as well.
Oh, this is like really sweet. Do we have any of those Chilean peppers?
Dani definitely does. The Chilaxian Reapers, she
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
has those.
Chile, like real chili, fantasy chili, and
Yeah, Chilaxian, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Get one of those and cut one of those up and mix it in with the stuff here, the food.
They spice it up real quick and real nice. It helps to balance out the sugars, for sure. Makes it go down a little easier.
Anyone else?
I would like to have a good day today, so no.
All right. I mean, this stuff is
Not all of
really
us.
sweet.
Not all of us want to eat something that tastes like the sun just because we love it so much, Demirius.
Well, the sun is pretty nice. Speaking of which, I ran into our friends that think the dawn is more glorious than they do, apparently. And there's this, and I'll slide over little papers that they gave me or whatever.
And yeah, it's a book with the holy symbol that you've come to recognize at this point. Let me pull it up. I should have had that up. My apologies. It is a book that has this symbol on the front. And you have come to find out that this is the holy symbol of Cassandra, the goddess of information. So basically they have dropped off a holy book. Do you like open it or show it off, give it to somebody, or what do you do with it?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit, but I didn't look too deeply into it. I figured someone that's a little bit better at these type of things, maybe there's like some site of maybe someone else will pick up on it. Like, I'll just leave it on the table to see if anybody else wants to take a look.
Yeah, can I make a check?
Sure, but as you pick it up, you notice that a letter falls out of the front. And I'm going to send it. I'll read it, but I'm also sending it here.
It's the letter K.
It's a handwritten note, but the handwriting seems very, very precise, as though it may have been written by almost like a typewriter. But and I want everyone to give me anyone who reads it, give me society checks in the tower firstly.
Aye, aye.
Everybody but me, because I'm not.
Yeah, because you're not there yet. You're still sleeping, you scamp.
You make a different society check for something else.
Oh, I'm really good with the world society, trust me.
That's exactly correct. Society. Okay, so Zavid, you kind of notice something interesting. You notice that the letter is written entirely in lowercase. Even proper nouns, names, starts of sentences, it's all in lowercase. Except occasionally there's words in full capitals. But now I'll read it to you. It says, "Siblings, a more glorious dawn to all of you. Welcome to the city. We hope the guards gave you a rough time. Not. We like to kid around here. Thank you for showing an interest in the Church of Cassandra of Modern Time Artificers. We provide a safe place for all newcomers to Wyvernsting. Meeting you all has become a cherished memory. We hope to see you soon after you have returned from your sightseeing. Be sure to seek out a Kodar cake. They are the best I have found, really. Sibling Grummadiah and I truly hope you will return. The pain of missing you will leave a scar. You will never be far from Cassandra light. No fire wall blocks her omniscience. To become one with the universe, our minds must become fortified. Each day we must ask ourselves, is there another way? By putting your trust in her infinite knowledge, you shall come to know enlightenment and ascendance. We say no to ignorance and superstition, and the numbers within our temple grow by the day. We are bursting with happiness that you are considering becoming part of our family. Siblings Norman and Grummadiah."
Let's take all of the capitalized words and put them chronologically in order and see if that makes any sense.
And I sent it to you in Discord, so. Or did I? Yeah, I sent it
Yeah,
the
you
right
did.
thing. Every once in a while I send something in a DM that I mean to send to everyone.
Takes the
So let's
third
see.
letter of every not capitalized letter, and then
It's
four of
not.
them in
It's easy. City
Oh.
not safe. Memory returned. Seek out Kodar founder. Scar wall fortified. Is there another way? Trust no temple family. Yeah, so basically we need to get the fuck out of here. That's what it's telling us to do. Now,
Have we
seek
heard
out
of Star Wars
Kodar.
before?
I will pull up your map. Hold of Belkson. Pop, pop. And that also rings a
Okay.
bell to Khan, because Khan, when you found Gwen Estraja's letter that she wrote to Ciprograd that never got sent. It said, "Go back to Kodar Peak,"
That's right.
which tells you that Kodar
That's
Peak
right.
is Ciprograd's lair. And so, if you look on this map here, you will see the Kodar Mountains here, the Foundry here, and Scarwall here.
Gotcha.
So Zavid was 100% correct before he even opened the letter. There was a code inside telling you, giving you hints and stuff. Yes. Called it before it happened.
That makes sense.
It's gnomes. That's what they do.
Well, we have multiple. Wait a minute. I'm gonna use Familiar's face, and I want to look through the eyes of Wisp and see what does Wisp see after heading south all night to get to the source of where we believe them to be.
I can show you.
World, shining,
yes,
shimmering,
shimmering,
splendid.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I can't show you on this, but Wisp, after walking all night, zapping in and out through the ethereal plane and the material plane, you cast this spell, and your vision goes from binocular to compact as you switch into the spider's eyes, and you can see in front of it is several spiky mountains with plains around you, but mountain range in front of you that are very sharp and jagged, and one is particularly tall, and there's a little bit of smoke rising from it.
I can extend not only my senses but my speech and all that stuff through it. I can kind of tell it what to do. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a sense of whether or not Wisp just made it to here, or Wisp is confronted by this wall. It is unable to progress for some reason.
It's just about where Wisp had gotten to. Wisp has not been stopped by anything yet. It sort of stopped for the night, just it needed to rest. And it is sort of, and you can tell that it's far south from you. But yeah, it didn't find an impasse. It just has stopped for rest.
I don't know if I'm actually able to communicate directly with it, but in case I don't, I'm going to control its little nubs, and I'm going to write an ACLA on the ground, a little message for it. Maybe it doesn't read though. Does it read?
Sure, it speaks ACLA. Why not?
Sure, all right. Maybe there's like an inherent meaning that I can glean from that. And I'll say, we are heading towards the south of your location. Progress forward, but be very careful. We will meet with you tonight.
And as you again, your vision is Wisp's vision, and all you see is just everything in front of you moves up and down like this, like it's shaking its head yes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I'll release the link and let Wisp do what Wisp's going to do. And I'll relay what I just did to everybody and say, he's safe. He has made it to, I think, the Scar Wall, but can see one of the peaks has more smoke than the others. He's going to continue to climb the mountain. Hopefully we'll be a little further along by the time we reach that place and we can use his eyes once more.
All right, excellent. We do have a destination then.
Well, I loved this place, this humble little dwelling, but I would like to get the fuck out of this city.
Agreed, yes.
Yeah.
If memory served, you wanted to get mounts, correct? Squig mounts?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. I'm gonna go up to this wall and I'm gonna start banging on it. We're getting squig mounts. Let's go.
There's nothing coming from his door. You could try to open it. He didn't lock it.
Oh no, I didn't bang on the door. I'm on the wall opposite, the wall that like borders the common area, because I know that that's where your room is. So I'm just banging on the wall. Reese, let's go.
Nothing is happening.
I'm screaming in the
I'll
middle
go.
of this tavern. People are like turning to look at me. We're getting
I'll go check on him.
squigs.
So, Con, what do you do?
I'm gonna like go back into the sleeping quarters, and I'm gonna like knock on his door, like, "Hey, we're leaving."
The door like is ajar when you knock on it.
Reese, Reese.
There's nobody in the room.
Oh,
He's not in his room.
What?
And
Was this his room? I can't.
no, his
highlight
room
anything.
was the one on
the one to the left. Yeah,
was
Ah.
like right
Ah.
here.
yeah.
Then I would have been here. Excuse me.
Yeah.
This was Reese's room. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see Reese ain't in there, but you give me a perception check in the tower. We're Con.
Will do.
Are we about to traumatize young Khan
I
here?
think so.
Just too effortless.
It's too perfect to not share. Con rolled in that one.
Oh no! Oh no!
So, Con, you don't hear anything coming from this room. There's nothing from there. You don't hear anything from Mythanar's room. Like, and you've been knocking. Maybe you should knock on that one.
Maybe. What's funnier, me like knocking on Mythanar's room to ask if he's seen Reese, or pulling a Zavid and assuming that Reese was kidnapped?
Well, I wouldn't think there's anything to assume that Reese was kidnapped.
We're
True.
dealing with the spooky mind control cult. Anything could have
You
happened.
could call on me and get my professional opinion on this.
Yes. Oh my god, please do that. Do that. I need
Con
this.
goes like barreling out of the room and like opens the door like, Reese isn't in his room. I think he's been kidnapped.
What? And I go jump over you,
Again.
and I go in, and I'm looking at the ground.
There is clothes strewn on the ground, by the way.
Not a full outfit though, but like a sock and a shirt.
No signs of a struggle. Then again, he could have been drugged. And I look for like a glass of water or something.
You
to
see
see if
two
there's-
empty wine jugs or two empty wine bottles.
You do have to remember, Zavid, we are dealing with mind control.
Does
This is
Reed
true.
have to make the perception roll too?
What's that?
Does
Oh
Reed-
yeah, Zavid, give me perception in the tower, please.
Sure.
Can't
Oh, actually,
be hard.
I have very good perception though.
Which
You
is
do.
why it's gonna be funny.
Okay, yeah. Zavid, you rolled extremely high. You hear rustling and muffled voices coming from the room next to it, which was Mythanar's room. Almost like
I do this to everyone in the hallway, and I go up to Demirius and Khan. I say, Reese has been captured and is in that room right now. I heard a little bit of his voice. It was muffled, as if someone was trying to stop him from speaking. I think we need to break in.
Oh no.
I pull out my fucking whip. I don't usually use this, but I will aid whoever goes first.
Con pulls
think-
out her short sword.
I think, Khan, you're the quietest. Maybe you should go first.
I will not let them claim the new dawn and kick in the door.
you see Reese sitting on the bed with his hands behind his back, and he's got a bit of a sheet in his mouth, and he looks over to you. Mythanar standing behind him, and Mythanar goes, banana, 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 banana.
Oh, pineapple.
I take the lip and the crack is right on the sheet, so the sheet splits. Do I have to make an attack roll for that?
That's too funny to not let happen. I'm just letting that happen.
Breakfast fruits. What?
Who bound you?
I'm already bound. Sorry.
What happened to your clothes?
They're not making sense. They've been brainwashed.
No, we're not brainwashed.
We need you to lay on hands on their heads. I'll start with a harm, and so I start loading up a harm spell.
No, we're fine. I was just saying our safe word. I was
lobotomy followed by healing. This is how we.
David, you don't need to do that.
Here, I'll get it. And Mythanar starts fumbling to untie Reese's hands.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Fine. I'm good. This was consensual. This is fine.
Good morning to all of you.
I'm practicing getting out of kidnapping situations.
It was a training exercise.
Could you make a check for me? And
oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna make Mythanar do a deception check.
I would like to roll with a penalty.
Do it.
Yeah,
make it
I
public,
definitely
though.
want to be like, no, we were practicing getting out of kidnapping situations.
Yep. Mythanar's gonna roll with it as well. Let's see. Deception.
Do I roll deception on that?
Yeah, deception publicly.
Need a 23 and I'll believe you.
Mythanar got a 22. Look, I'll even show it.
One.
You're untrained in deception?
I'm not a rogue.
Yeah, but I thought you were a liar.
Rake, not a rogue.
I have I'm a liar, but I have a societal kind of air about
You're more
me.
performance than you are straight up.
Oh yeah, I'm Jack Sparrow.
You're a method actor.
And Mythanar rolled one less than your perception, even at a -10. You got a 22. So you still don't believe their lies at all.
If you were really trying to learn how to escape your bonds, then you would not use bed sheets. These are easy to escape. They don't tie very tightly. You need a rope for that, obviously.
Don't have the right kind of rope.
Oh, yes. Well, rope. Yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't have the right kind of rope.
Let me show you how it's done, and then I'll bind you up again. But this time, actually, I would bind a prisoner, so it's not fun or comfortable. It's
you have
First of all, you don't give them the ability to pop their shoulders out of place, because then they can contort themselves out. I've done it before. Also, if you're going to gag them, use something that they can't just spit out, and then a rope, like a tweed, it's like poking your mouth, one of those really rough ones.
Yeah, can I elbow my way past Demirius to see what the fuck is going on?
And as you're doing this, Reese's legs are going moving in tighter and tighter and just crossing as they're doing so.
What the fuck?
Mythanar, this is how you bind someone. I know you've been an advisor for a long time. Maybe you haven't had much experience. In fact, I think I have a book that will help you. And I pull out the Bard Barbarian that Ash gave me, or rather Dani gave me. And I say, this book has everything you need to know about the doing binds. And then I'll loosen the binds on Reese now that Reese is here. You should read this first and then try this again. Lots of practical advice.
I just grab the sheet and just bunch it up, put it in my lap, and go. So anyway, what's going on? Where
are we going?
We're getting mounts, and I rush out.
Right, Mythanar?
Mythanar goes red in the face and tries to walk out and trips over himself, falls over the bed, trips past Khan, smashes into the wall, and fumbles past Demirius and rushes out.
Anyway, yeah, so we're getting mounts.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
This is another Gurkha situation. Yeah.
You see, for some reason, maybe I have been spending too much time with Zvid. I thought that you were kidnapped. But okay, this makes much more sense. Is this going to be a common occurrence? Just so I can like keep it in mind.
Depends who stays around. I'll be less Heidi about it the more frequent the person is within our party. But yeah, maybe. And
Okay.
love forever, love is free. Turn forever, you and me. You know.
I
So.
appreciate you practicing your escaping skills, but
Maybe
around me,
keep an
you don't have to worry
alarm
about
clock next time. We have places to go.
Yeah, lost track of time. There's some elf fruit that he brought, and we just like lost track of time.
And suddenly you do smell something funky in the air. Oh, elf fruit. Yeah. Finest herb in the South Farthing. Got
You
it.
can find like everywhere, especially in the greens. So like,
smells funny in here.
yeah.
Oh, we're good. I'll let you get ready.
Let's okay. All right, hold on.
All right.
And you just see again, Reese walking out of the room, the ball of sheets still like attached to him as he just like walks awkwardly, kind of with a small limp, to his room. And he gets changed.
Fantastic. And from there, we can move to. You're going to get mounts, yes? So, all right.
Yeah, but when you all come back to like the thing, I'm proudly telling Dani about how I gave the book to to Reese. Like, I think it was time to pass on this knowledge, and this was it felt very fulfilling to be able to help them in their time of need like that. And I bet she immediately understands what happened.
Oh yeah, Dani gets it immediately, understanding what her brother and Reese were getting up to with sheets and such, and then you giving them that specific book.
Zafid. Zafid.
Poor
Sweet child.
Summer child. Yes,
Yeah.
sweet summer child. All right. So, after Reese gets ready and has a quick, like, anime protagonist slice of toast in the mouth as they're pulling toast on out the door, you were able to get directions to the local mount farmer, the Squiggly Wiggly, which I hope will load. It's not a very complicated map.
Every time Zavid goes to one of these places and just reads the fucking sign, just goes, ugh. Like there's a louder and louder sigh after each one.
I love it.
I'm dying slowly every time we come to a new place like this.
This is why I DM. All right.
Well, ding, 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 ding. We have entered the Squiggly Wiggly.
You walk in and you see a very stocky orc man who's bald he's wearing brown overalls, and he's got 4 little creatures running around him. They're small, about the size of like a small to medium sized dog, but they appear to be bipedal reptiles with tiny little horns, sharp teeth, and long tails. They're pink in color with a soft orange underbelly. When they open their mouths, they have long purple tongues, but they seem friendly as they're running around at his feet, snuffing at little bits of food and treats that he's dropping. They're like, and he looks up to you and says, "Oh, good morning, welcome. What can we do for you?"
We need some of the squigglies.
Oh, you're in town for some squigs, huh? Okay, sure. I can show you all around. Come on in. And the creatures they're very cute, and they seem to take an interest in all of you. Coming up to you and sniffing at you and says, "If you want to give any of them a treat, you can. They're on the walls over there, and there are little jars of. They look like little meaty, like jerky treats almost." But he says, "Sure, let me show you what we got here." And he kind of opens the door and shows you to an area with a big barn, sort of near the back, with a double door. Let me pop this open. Boop. Inside are several stalls, just like in a horse breeder type play. I can't remember the word for that. Person who sells horses. Stable, just like horses in a stable. But you see much larger versions of those creatures. They're big, lizardy, multiple horned, long fanged bipedal creatures with tiny little T-Rex arms. All of them have a big septum piercing with like ropes and chains attached, which is how you ride them. And there's barding hung up along the walls. And he says, yeah, this is what we got. These are the riding squigs we sell. They're not too expensive, about 100 gold each, which you more than have.
Zavid, a single teardrop comes down. He says, "These are beautiful creatures."
I turned to
They're
Zavid and go,
much cuter when they're younger.
Squid. I thought there would be like tentacles and squid squishies, and you lied.
You lied, nature.
I want this one. This one here. I feel a connection with this creature.
Oh, of course. We always don't. We hold off on giving them names until your person buys them. So you're welcome to call it what you like.
I go to pet it and it bites my arm. It's like whole. I go, he likes me.
It's up to the shoulder.
I slip out between his teeth with like shadow ability. I'm gonna call this one Bitey.
Oh, that's a great choice. They do like to bite, so just watch your arms and your fingers and your children's and your pets.
You're gonna betray Rottrot like that, Zavid?
I don't betray. These are the different strokes for different folks, different animals for different pet. You know what I mean?
Animals.
Animal, whatever. You know what I mean. We are going up a straight mountain. Rottrot can't climb that sort of terrain. These things can.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go up and down and I guess get the vibe on one.
Sure. Give me a nature check publicly, just to see how you deal with this, or survival. Your choice. Dealer's choice. Okay. So they seem to not particularly like you too much, but they're not really snapping at you. Like Zavid, that one was very interested in him right off the bat, and especially because he almost allowed it to bite him. But sort of just walking straight up and down, they mostly they don't really take notice of you.
I see what I'm not wanted around here.
I will say that Khan is like puffed up as much as she can be. Just like as soon as she saw these like giant creatures with big teeth, instinct has taken over to make herself appear as large and intimidating as possible.
Your fight and flight response is kicking in?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Give me
One
either
fear,
survival.
big teeth.
Yes. Please give me either nature or survival in the publicly. No, in the tower. Demirius rolled in the tower as well.
Okay. Nature or survival?
Your choice.
Gotcha. They are the same.
I think it's the same with Demirius.
And same with me too.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you're walking up and down these looking puffed up and looking, confident and big and aggressive. And one this squigs, the one on the right at the bottom, this one, as you walk past it, it looks at you and it sniffs and it kind of bows its head a little bit.
You see, this is the respect that I should get definitely without. No.
The hippogriff is what you're telling us.
Oh yeah, damn, that is a hippogriff. I completely.
That's some animal.
I'm gonna name this one Buckbeak. It doesn't have a beak. Feels
in
right.
the back of my brain and didn't. Yes, just like a hippogriff.
I want to make a survival check and try to like scope out.
Sure. Give me survival in the tower, please.
That's my focus on here. What will make me hardy?
Yeah, the squigs don't really seem to be taking too much interest in you either, Reese. But Crubber, the orc who owns this place, comes up to you and just says, "Oh well, why don't you try feeding one?" And he hands you a little treat.
Okay, so he takes a treat, and he walks down, kind of like where Khan's is, and see them bonding, smiles, rips half the treat in half, and throws one at Khan's, but then just keeps walking and sees the one at the end, and just like makes eye contact with it.
And it's sniffing at you. It seems like it wants your jerky treat.
I just toss it.
And it snaps it out of the air. And as it does that, it kind of turns away from you slightly and leans against its pen, like as though it wants you to pet it.
I give it a little scritch.
And it does kind of leans into the scritch. Demirius, the main thing you picked up on was that Khan kind of put out, I don't want to say a predator vibe, but like a primal type vibe. So if you wanted, you could try almost intimidation instead of like nature, like a bonding. You could try to submit one of these to your will. If you're there. Oh, hey, there we go. You might be muted. That's enough. So you're able to kind of walk up to one of these and describe how you would go about intimidating one. And again, you might be muted. There you are.
Probably.
I'm not done playing.
Oh, 1 sec.
No problemo. While you're doing that, Dani is going to go up to one of these, and she's going to start to kind of hum and sing to it and play her flute. And let me see if that's going to help her. Probably. Yeah, Dani kind of gets one of these to even start dancing along with the beat. She rolled a 41 on her performance. So yeah, the squig over in this stall starts to kind of dance left and right to the beat of her song. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Demirius is starting to get kind of jealous almost that everyone is having such quick connections to these squigs. But you finally see one up at the top here, Demirius, and it catches your eye, and it's like it's challenging you to a staring contest. It like looks you hard in the eye, in a way none of the others had, and you were able to meet its gaze and kind of take a step towards it, and then another step without blinking, and you push yourself over the stall door, and it sits down on its hindquarters, and eventually drops its gaze from your eyes. It looks like all of you are quite adept at getting squigs to like you. Well, if these are the ones you want, I'd be more than happy to sell them to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, my good man.
Wonderful.
And I'll start sorting out the gold.
Cool. Now, you have more than enough. You've basically got the entire Bank of Abadar and the entire Kingdom of Daruma in your pocket. So 700 gold is chump change to y'all. Excuse me. Crubber is more than happy to sell these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squigs to all of you. Yes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 600 gold. But he'll give you probably a discount because you're buying 6, so maybe 550. But yeah, you're able to get all of these as mounts. He sets you up with barding, a few days worth of feed, and if you want, y'all can give each of your squigs names because they're now yours. So do with.
I'm drawing my squid right now.
Yes.
Squid.
That is amazing. So what is the next step? You now have your mounts. So discuss amongst yourselves what happens now.
So, as I look through Discord for the note, so we need to get to the Kodar Mountains, but we can't go through Scarwall because it's defended, reinforced. So they'll. Well, I don't know how steep the mountain is, but there might be some mountain climbing in our future. Who knows?
Yes, we should have some mountain climbing gear just to be safe.
Can I do a society check since we've been in here for a little bit? And just if I have a rough idea, like what way might be best based on like what I can gather.
Absolutely. Give me a society check in the tower, and I'll reshare the map of Belkson with you again. Okay. You know that there are rivers. There's a big river that comes down from the Kodar Mountains that could potentially be a path or an avenue. There are, or Zavid is correct, there are ways up into the mountains to get to Kodar, but
I'm gonna ask our friend keeper friend, hey, those rivers that run through, how rough are they? Like, do you think these guys can handle like shoreside, or even if they get wet? I don't know if they're like.
Oh, they love the water. They don't mind going over rivers none. They can swim just as good as they can run. Just don't get them underwater too long. They can't hold their breath.
Okay.
But they're good in the mountains. They're good near the water.
And Reese turns to everybody and is just like, okay, let's take the river just to be safe. I think that it's the least dangerous. We don't know what exactly is up other than scary. Down is a mystery, but it can't be as bad as up.
I agree. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're leaving the town to the south. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Let me think.
I'll take my Thar on what did you name yours? Bitey?
Mighty, yeah.
I'll name mine Nom.
I love that. Bitey and Nom. Okay. So Zavid, you're starting to get, you have your connection to Wisp, and you're starting to see that Wisp has stopped and is trying to get your attention essentially by sort of popping back and forth into the same general spot over and over.
Bing, bing.
Sort of a ping to tell you that they see something.
All right, I'll cast Familiar's Face again. Whom.
Okay. And you see, you won't be able to see it in the image I'm showing here, but you see in the background the smoke rising from the mountain again, but much closer this time. But you see in front of that, closer to the vision, you see that Wisp is on the lip of like a large, what looks like a crater, like a crater or a caldera looking down, and there's sort of a lake, and in the middle of it is a large stone structure that looks like this. It's got spires and towers and parapets. It seems to be very well guarded as well. Has that loaded?
Yeah, whoa. Who's that adventuring party?
That's one of the Pathfinder iconics.
It's like some people beat us here.
Ignore that.
It actually looks really cool.
It looks really cool, but it's Pathfinder, the iconics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is what you see in front of you through Wisp's eyes. A very fortified stone fortification, frankly.
I'm looking for a drainage pipe, or I'm looking for any sort of egress to the castle that isn't meant for people to walk into, that could be used as a way to sneak in.
Okay. So yeah, you can have Wisp looking around. And do you or Wisp have like a survival check, or a perception would be good. Give me a perception in the tower.
Sure. In fact,
senses anyway.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to cast Trucade, so that now I can use that sense through their senses. So yeah, you tell me if there's anything illusory that I would normally not have noticed that I might. I see the true forms.
Okay. You see a strange trail in the water. It looks like water, which is why you would not have seen it if you hadn't cast True Seeing. There's something in the water. It's you know how in a video game there's like when you have a quest objective and there's like a line that connects you and it's sort of wavy going hither and thither. It's sort of like that. You're seeing like a filament in the water, and you can tell that it's some kind of pollutant. Maybe it's something that's being poured into this water, and it's coming from a specific point up the mountain a little bit, whereas this big fortification is in the center of like a big crater. You can see that this is, or rather, it's bubbling up from the water in the crater. That's a better way to put it. This weird stuff.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I want to look towards the edges of the crater to see, is there a runoff that's causing this, or it's literally coming from underneath the crater?
It appears to be coming from, if you're getting close, it appears to be coming from a large pipe.
Oh, okay. I want to look at the walls to see if there are guards posted. What does the security of this place look like?
There are guards. Do you get like telescopic vision or anything?
I don't think so, but I think I have just kind of acute sight. So like, I might not be able to recognize faces from the distance that they're at, but probably I could recognize if someone's like wielding a spear or they look like a certain race or something like that.
Sure, you see a lot of guards. Most of them are very big and bulky, wearing metal armor. So you get the sense they're probably orcs. However, there are occasionally things like trebuchets or big ballistae, large weapons. And on each of them seems to be someone really small. And again, you can probably guess they're gnomes, knowing what you know about what's been going on.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any sort of large door or something that's like, not necessarily the portcullis here in the photo, but like if they were to release like those cyborg animals, like where would they be releasing them from? I'm trying to see if there's like one more opening that fits that bill.
You don't see anything like that. You get the feeling that if there's an egress for something like that, it's probably hidden up in the mountains. Yeah, you can. Does True Seeing give you like X-ray vision through walls and stuff?
No, but it just means I can see the true form of anything that's shapeshifted, and I can see through illusions.
There doesn't appear to be any illusions cast in this area. It seems that the security and defenses appear to all be mechanical or meat people.
I can also see into the ethereal plane too. I did mention that's another true sight ability.
Again,
if there's anything.
Nothing ethereal at all in this place. It appears to be a very mechanical defensive fortification.
Okay. Well, I will instruct my little dude to wait for us and stay out of sight and safe. And we will, again, meet him where he's at right at that moment tonight when we're able to get there.
Okay.
And I relay everything that I saw to everybody else, that there's a pipe, what the security's looking like. Seems like they're releasing these animals from someplace other than this fortress, like somewhere in the mountains.
So,
we could hit that, or we could hit the fortress.
So when you say that, I automatically just activate the what's it called? I think it's Warden Step.
Mm-hmm.
So we become very silent as long as you're within the grasp area of me. We avoid notice during exploration in natural terrain, and I can designate any number of my allies to gain benefits as if they were using it actively during the exploration, and that's no action on your part.
That's awesome. So go ahead and give me a stealth check, Reese, in the tower. And I will roll that over for everybody. With a ranger in the party, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, right. Stealth. You said in the tower?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and you said you were going to follow the river, correct? Go south and then follow the river, kind of? All right. So yeah, out of town, the guards give you no issue leaving the town. Whereas they kind of gave you suspicious looks wandering into town, they don't mind if you leave. So you're given no issue going out of town, and you follow the road for quite a while. It's a dusty but well-traveled road. Merchants come and go here constantly. You're able to fairly quickly find the river that goes through the flood roads, and find it winding south. If you want, while I set up something, you've got a moment.
Trying to make this bitey art look good.
I'm sure it looks amazing.
It's quick. It's nothing crazy.
I remember your art for the first time you exploded a zombie. I think his name was Gumby. That was amazing.
I don't remember that.
It was like level 4. When you first got Wisp, you sent him in. You sent a zombie into a room full of spider eggs.
I remember. Okay, no, yeah.
And Wisp's egg was the only one that was left. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that I killed Wisp's entire family. I don't want to remember that. I blocked that out of my memory.
Yes, you definitely did that. So as you're walking, you're riding your squigs, kind of getting used to it. It's like learning to ride a horse for the first time, because they're sort of like chocobos from Final Fantasy. They're being two-legged, but they're lizard creatures. They're a little difficult to get used to. Some of you are picking it up faster than others. But as you're going, Mythanar finally speaks up, and he just says, "So, it isn't that I'm not happy for all of you to have been saving me, but why did you come for me? What is the reason for you being here?"
I mean, we just really like you. That's not enough.
No, I mean, I filled you in a little bit on my reasoning for being with them. And, I felt like after all this time, you should probably know who was sneaking into your sister's room being friends.
I wasn't here for that, so...
Yeah. So, that I'm just following what they're doing, and you're apparently pretty important, so that's why we keep you around. And, well, you're cute, so,
He goes red in the cheeks again.
But we're not keeping you just because you're cute.
Yes, your blood is even cuter.
Forgot to not show that this is what Mythanar looks like. He's about 6'8", blonde, has exactly the same eyes as Dani. Very muscular as well.
How does it feel to basically be Kronk for that kingdom?
Well, it hasn't been so bad. I mean, I've lived in that city over 100 years. I've watched warlords come and go. I've lived under the reign of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 8, 9. I've lived under the reign of 9 different warlords in the city of Wyvernsting. Some were more brutal than others, but over the years, I've made myself useful to them. So at least I don't live in a cage and eat out of a bowl now.
That's a good point.
Things have been better since Empress Wu Zetian. She was an iron-fisted woman, but the longest reigning orc in all of recent memory. But Hundix is a good man. I hope we can find his daughter. She's a sweet girl.
I'm sure we will find her. Whether or not she is completely unharmed, jury's still out on that one, but let's hope.
Demirius, if you're there, he might be AFK. Who's carrying the orbs? because you took 2. I forgot who was carrying them. Is it Demirius or is
I think I got one. I got the one for not the orc, but for the dragon.
Okay. Then who has the other one?
If it's not Khan, then it's probably Demirius.
And I think he's AFK, so let's just say it's Khan for now. That'll make things easier.
Yeah.
Khan, give me a perception check in the tower, please.
Will do. Perception.
You can feel that something in your bag is vibrating.
We'll see what it is then.
And
Ponder the orb.
you pull it out, and it is indeed the orb that has the orc image inside. And I can show that again. I forgot about that.
We stop what we're doing and we're like, Khan, we're on the move. What are you doing? Hold on, I have to ponder my orb real quick.
Which one is it? There it is. So you pull it out, and it is indeed the orb with the orc in it, the old man with the arcane sigil tattoos. And you notice that before, when you had sort of activated these things, there was a little light inside that acted like a fish in a fishbowl that pushed up against the sides. And even as you turned it, it stayed in the same location. But the ball is vibrating in your hand, and that little light is pointing, and it's almost like it's trying to push out of the globe. It's very aggressively pushing near the sides of the crystal ball.
Is this supposed to happen?
Probably. This is more arcane stuff. I don't really do much scrying myself.
Same.
Anyone who wants to give an arcana check in the tower can.
Since I've got it.
I'll do it
And
for
might as well try.
fun, but...
Zavid, since you have that gem, you get a +2 for scrying stuff.
Arcana...
I love how everyone's like, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't
I could take a
hurt
look,
to make this
but-
check.
Dani will check too, because she has that as well.
Oh, good. If we had bubblegum, she'd be fine.
Yeah, it would have been great. Actually, yeah, Dani's the only one who succeeded that check. Y'all did really, really bad. Dani comes up to you and says, these things have been acting like compasses. I think it means we're close.
Ah. Okay, that makes sense. I was worried that they were like, I don't know, scrying on us. That's what that was
no.
supposed to represent.
Maybe it meant close to death too. I was like, what? How did we get here?
But as you're walking down the road, on the horizon, you start to see a little hut and kind of a big field in a clearing that sits right along the river that you've been hugging this whole time. It's a cat.
Mm-hmm. It's a Juno. Oh, and there's Bowie that's going to be coming in soon.
Let me just share this map here with you. You eventually come across a small hut with a decent-sized barn that has a fenced-off area pushed up against the the river that you've been following, and there's a bunch of sheep all up in the fields there. And in the middle of the field, you do see a person off in the distance.
It's a person. Kill them.
Some parties, man.
I'll mosey on down.
Yeah.
I do a little swagger when I go down this road. I'm like, this is the country person walk. You gotta put extend your feet out completely as if you're wearing cowboy boots, and then make a clip clap sound when you walk.
Can
Clip,
Sophie do
clap,
a society check to make sure he's correct on that? I would love to do one roll against him on that.
And I don't know if I'm lying. I think can I just roll something
Sure.
to see if I'm right too?
Persuasion.
Society would be perfect for that.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll. Oh yes.
You
So
beat
yeah,
me.
Zavid is correct that that is exactly how cowboys walk, with a swagger. That's how country people walk.
Look, it's a bit antiquated. Not everyone does it, but it's like if your neighbors are coming by, you walk like this. You want them to see you walking like this. It's like a status thing.
I'm gonna roll a performance check just to see how I do.
Not bad. It's not as good as Zavid's.
My
Zavid's
favorite thing
really-
about Zavid is rolling pointless nat 20s. They are the best.
It happens so often. And I love it. It's
As
the
Reese
best.
is doing the walk as best they can, they just kind of like look back, see if what's his face is impressed.
Oh, Mythanar?
Mythanar, yeah.
That's a great question. Let me see here. So you rolled performance.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do this. Yeah, he doesn't like watching you walk away, but he doesn't want to see you go, but he likes watching you walk away.
Oh my god.
Good. Good. See, this is where my rolls count.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me see if that guy sees you.
There's like a knock, like also a kind of knock that goes with this. And it's the classic bum 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 bum. You always have to knock like that. If you don't knock like that, people think you're there for like hostile reasons.
And a few moments later, you hear a voice coming from the side. It's kind of a gruff voice that goes on, Rockok Magar, Calico-Crash McClog. Ah, Calico.
I immediately back away and I push Khan in front of me like, talk!
Is Khan the only one that knows Orcish?
Mm-hmm.
One of the only ones, I think. Somebody else knows it, but I think they're not playing.
I don't think Dani knows it. Yeah, Reese doesn't, and Dani.
Oh.
Dani doesn't either. Yeah, Khan's the only one who speaks Orcish.
That's hilarious.
I love
right.
the Bitey picture.
Ooh, I want to see.
It's in Discord.
He's not as aggressive. He just likes to eat.
Right. So the orc comes up to you. He says to you, "I'll be over in just a minute. One second." And kind of hops over the fence and washes his face off, and eventually wanders around the hut. And he, he's still speaking in Orcish. And he says,
Yeah.
"Hey there, what can I do for you? What
Hello,
you
hello.
need?"
Since I'm the only one who can speak Orcish, I can say whatever I want for the rest of the party.
Yes, you can.
Yes. You're the face.
Yeah.
We love you for this.
Yeah. We saw your face in a scrying orb, and we wanted to find you.
Oh, a squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah,
What are you
you see?
talking about, you git? And he
I'm a mouse.
and he looks and he picks it up and,
I'm a mouse.
and he looks at it and he looks at you and he looks back at it and he says, "I think we better go inside and have us a conversation." And he looks to all of you and he says, and he kind of switches to common for a second. He says, "Come on in. My name is Gazco."
Oh, it's nice to properly meet you.
And I can open up his hut. Poop,
I
boop, 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 bop.
kind of do this. I'm like, you did it. When you started talking and then you turned and pointed at me for a second, it got me scared that you were accusing me of something. But I never doubted you. I never doubted you the whole time.
One of these days.
Reese's-
One of these days.
In my head, I thought you were going to do something like that. Like, he tried to steal your livestock. And I'm just looking at it, like eating jerky, like, what? Like, he would have killed me.
Okay, put everybody kind of in, and he invites you in, and he's got a very humble little hut. It's a 2-story, kind of wooden and stone structure. There's a couple of hides on the ground, like little rugs. He's got a hearth with a fire in it. There's a small eating area and a stairway that goes up to a second level. And he kind of plunks himself down into his seat, and he says, "Well then, you seem to know who I am, but I don't seem to know who you are. What brings you
well.
here?"
My name is Khan the Bloody. These are all my companions.
Now that's a raw crumpin' name there.
Yeah.
The bloody, huh? Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
And he kind of he gets really physically excited. Like you can almost feel the energy. Like he went from very suspicious to yeah. Just hearing
These are people with much less exciting names than mine.
Oh, well, it's nice to meet you regardless of your moniker. Again, my name is Gazco.
I'm going to try to impress. I know it's an orc, but still, I'm gonna use courtly graces to be like, my name's not impressive, but I'm good at impressing the people who matter. And like all of a sudden, I'm gonna do a society check.
oh yeah, do that in the tower, please.
Yep. I'm gonna try to do like my best, be like, but to the right people. I can appear pretty important.
Sure, yeah, you put on a pretty royal air, and he seems like he believes you, but it almost kind of turns him off a little bit.
Oh, I know, I'm not trying to fuck him, so I don't care.
No, he I'm just saying, I don't mean like sexually turns him off. I mean like it's clear this guy doesn't particularly care for aristocrats. Like
oh, I don't either, but and I see the expression, I'm just like, oh, I hate them too. I steal from them.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. You a sneaky git, are you?
I am, but I present so good that they don't know the difference.
Now, that's what I like. That's cunning. That's brutal cunning, that is.
Have you heard of that man with a very tall hat a few towns ago? Dimmadug thing? I forgot his name. He's ridiculous. But I stole like 100 platinum from him and he didn't even know.
Well, as we used to say in the Aucklands, eat the bloody rich, eh?
Goddamn right.
But I hope you're not too hungry because we also have our Mark with us too. And I gesture to Dani. She's a queen.
Queen, is she? That's a right proper bargaining chip.
Yes. Despite the fact that we are completely playing our country for fools, she still follows us and thinks of us as her friends. Isn't that crazy and pathetic? Haha. And I look at her and I'm like, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding.
Dani picks up on what you're laying down, and she just kind of ha ha ha. Oh, Zavid.
you.
Oh, you.
Oh, Zavid, that's scary.
Zavid's actually like genuinely laughing. He thinks this is hilarious. Anyway, do you have any like meat for your guests here? I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I'm sorry, how rude of me. I'll go me some mutton.
And he goes over and pulls out some dried mutton. He's a shepherd. He clearly is going to have sheep meat. So he hands he didn't have a feast prepared, but he's definitely got enough to offer you food.
Do you have any jerky? We have squigs. Trust me, I can compensate you. And he like flips a plat over.
Oh, my goodness
This is
gracious.
Compliments from the rich bastard.
Ah,
And as he kind of gnashes his teeth, you notice he's got bigger tusks than pretty much any orc you've come across at this point.
Kind of scares him actually, but he keeps it together.
Yeah, he's not purposely doing it to like intimidate you. Just all he has to do is just kind of, anything that for me as a human, just kind of going with my mouth looks frightening from him because he's like a big tusk coming up from his mouth.
It doesn't even have to be your finest meat. It could be like the throwaway shit that you like turn into sausage, like just whatever you got on hand that you don't need.
I've got some awful sausage.
And yeah, he'll hand you some dried bits of sheep to give to the squigs.
Gotta keep the scary beasts on our side.
Now, what's your name then, middleman?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say maybe Dani will go feed the squids since Ash isn't here, and I also just sort of like undersold her character just then, so she can't defend herself anyway.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect thing for Dani to do. She will go feed the squigs.
That's probably what she would want to do anyway if she was here.
That's absolutely what she'd want to do, is hang out with the squigs and talk to the squigs and try to wild shape into the squigs.
Now then, how exactly did you come across that little orb there?
Well, it seems that there was a dragon that really took a liking to you and your kin.
Well, now, you must be talking about old Gwynistraja, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Indeed. It seems. Are you familiar with what happened with those dragons and all the shit that went down? Did someone spill the tea for you already, or what?
As far as I know, they've been dead 1,000 years.
Okay, so one, thank you for admitting that you are over 1,000 years old, which is fucking insane.
And at that, he has a realization. Oh fuck! You know, one of those like he just.
I've heard stories that they don't. He's
No. Look, you
No.
look
I'm not
great.
even gonna
You
give
look.
you. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll perception. He's clearly trying to save himself. Oh fuck! Yeah, tripping over his words.
Figure of speech, you see.
Yeah, it was a story I just heard. Damn it.
Oh, listen. We think you look great for your age, but here's the crazy shit. Gwynistraja, you are correct, passed away in the midst of this sort of the dick measuring contest between these two dragon bastards. But they were both very sad, both very upset about what happened. They parted ways. One of them, Beatrax, Beatrax is still alive and has been sort of in hiding in sort of the near Fogton in those mountain ranges. We recently made contact with him and sort of helped resolve some stuff. You might be happy to know that there is a dragon egg, Anastassia's baby, that Beatrax. Excuse me, this is so good, this food, thank you.
Thank you. I like to raise happy sheep. They say happy sheep make the best mutton.
Yes, this one had a joyous life until it was abruptly ended at the blade of your axe.
I thank you for locking me head, Chopper.
And he pulls up an axe that he has at his side. It's like a one-handed war axe, and it's really kind of brutal. It's got jagged edges and like other stuff attached to it.
Oh, I would hate to be a sheep living here. That looks like it hurts. That looks like you made it hurt on purpose. Like you could have had it be a clean cut, but no, you wanted it jagged because you wanted them to feel their head coming off.
Give them a right proper orcish diff.
That is fucking metal as hell, and I love it.
I fought my sheep before I kills them. Give them a proper chance to defend themselves.
Oh my god.
Once when Reese hears that, he does that battle stance thing that Gurkha taught him, just to let him know, I'm cool. I know what's up.
What? I'm curious, how do you fight a sheep?
Oh, well, you just have to get down and you just kind of, you bug them a little like this.
And he starts slapping you in the face. And everyone else, give me a perception check at the tower.
What?
And it's like, oh yeah, you get them like in the left and
This
right.
is
And you
good.
confuse them,
I love it.
Headbutt him.
Okay, here's the funniest part. Zavid, you got a nat 1. Reese got a nat 20. So Zavid, you legitimately think this is how you fight a sheep? Like you go, huh? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But Reese, you know immediately he's just fucking with Demirius and slapping him. Just back.
Oh, Reese.
Con, you pick up on it too.
I just want to like headbutt him real hard.
Do it. That would be an unarmed attack.
All right. Let's see here.
I have stats for him.
actions?
Actually, you can even drop it on him. He's an NPC.
I don't know if I have an unarmed strike.
Oh, let's see. So
My
then
sheet
your
anyways.
unarmed strike would be just put a -2 and then use your Serenra's Grief as your attack roll. Your plus 22.
How do we do?
'Cause you're
minuses
unarmed.
on this?
In the modifier on the bottom left of your
Yeah.
screen, just hit the minus sign and then a 2.
Hmm.
And then yeah, you can just drop it on him because he actually has like stats and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, you hit him. So you're able to headbutt him, and he goes, "Rah! Oh, I like this one. I like this one a lot." And he follows up with he attempts to headbutt you himself. So I'm going to attempt that. Let's see here. So he gets a -2 as well. Where are you, Demirius?
Where are you?
There he is. Yeah, hits you. He
God damn it.
after he says, "Oh no, this one," he grabs you by the ears and he gives you a headbutt himself. But
Oh my
you can tell that this is less of a retaliatory attack, and it's almost more of a handshake.
Yeah.
There wasn't malice in his response.
Yeah, I'll just like
Probably-
put my hand up on his shoulder and be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, you could probably tell by like when you saw Reese give that fighty stance to the battle master lady, and she like got turned on.
Yeah.
You now understand why that works. I think.
Yeah, orcs like that kind of stuff. That's their jams.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like Reese this guy. Like I'm just okay. Go on.
Yeah. Before I lose my thought, because this was a tangent. I'm losing it. The baby. There's a baby. Gonastrazi's a baby. And it is still in the egg. It can be hatched far later than it normally would be. It needs a very hot temperature, so we were sort of doing that on the sidelines here. He's a cool dude. He didn't mean for any of the stuff that happened to her. He's actually had a lot of years to try to atone for that. The other guy, what was it? Ciprograd, I think is the name. Yeah. So there's a copper dragon that is around these parts, except this copper dragon has been captured by some assholes that live beyond the mountains around the spined mountains or range or whatever.
Kodar.
The Kodar mountain range. That's right. There's like a crater lake, and there's this fortress in there, headed by orcs and gnomes working together on all sorts of weird, cobbled together clockwork technologies that are very advanced but very dangerous and inhumane. Anyway, I'm kind of dumping a lot of this on you. They have Ciprograd, and they've got some sort of device on him to like control his movements and his mind in a way. We would like to free him because we think he would not stand to be controlled by anybody and would probably retaliate and destroy the fuck out of them. But also, we wanted to reach out to you because when we reached Gwenastrazia's lair, that's where we found this orb. We found out about Ciprograd. Betelgetrax had an orb, and you had an orb, sir. All of your friends, the orbs showed their graves, but you just living life. So it begs the question, how the hell is that happening?
I suppose there's no sense in my lying to you. It was a battle a long time ago. And, well, I suppose I shall back up even from that. You already know how old I am. It's magical. It's not natural. I'm sure you know that. Orcs don't live much past 50. I'm over 1,000. I am the last weird boy of Gork and Mork.
You're welcome to roll religion checks, anyone in the tower.
Did you say the last weird boy?
That's right.
Yeah.
The last weird boy. Hold on, before I roll this religion check, I just need to let that sink in that you said the last weird boy, 100% serious.
None of you have ever heard of a weird boy or Gork and Mork. You have no idea what he's talking about.
Dang.
We know Mork and Mindy.
that was a good show. And he's looking at you at all of your confused faces, and he says,
Yeah, it's about what I thought. Come here and I'll show you. Come upstairs.
and you don't have to move. I can just swap out the where is it? There we go. Second level. So he takes you upstairs. It's kind of a bedroom. There's a little bed with a kind of a sheep's skin blanket. There's a desk, and On the wall, he has a kind of a shrine, and I'll show it to you here. It's got a picture of two orcs, one on the left, one on the right. In the center, there's what appears to be a holy symbol that shows two faces. On the left, the orc has a finger up to his temple like this, almost like that meme of, this guy. And beneath it, it has bloody teeth and says Gork. And to the other side, there's another one of an almost identical orc pointing to his temple. The background is red and it says Mork beneath him. On the left, beneath that, carved into the wall, it says cunningly brutal. And on the right, beneath Mork, it says brutally cunning. And he brings you up here and he says, Gork and Mork is the gods what the orcs used to worship in the old worlds. There was a battle, and I was in there using my weird powers given to me by Gork and Mork. And, well, in the middle of the battle, I was crumping some demons left, right, smooshing them left, right, when everything sort of went slow and all wiggly around me. And then I saw in front of me a big old devil. Horns, tail, pitchfork, the whole nine. He looks at me and he says, Gazco, demon killer. That's what I used to be called. He says, Gazco, you're about to meet your end. And he let me look around the time-stop battlefield, and I saw behind me was a rat of a goblin with a knife to the back of my skull, about to take me out. Now that's no way for a right proper orc to die. That's no way for a weird boy, a Gork and Mork, to die. Chopped in the back of the head with a knife. So this devil, he gave me a choice. He said I could keep going on crumping in the name of Gork and Mork, but no other orcs would be able to hear my sermons. No one believed me when I told them of the way of the old gods. It was good at first. I'd go from battle to battle, but as my brothers died, my powers got weaker and weaker. I don't know. I think I'm the last one left who even knows Gork and Mork's name. You seem to have a question there. What's on your mind?
All right, out of character.
Yeah.
Reese has adopted ancestry of goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be able to roll anything to see if this actually is sounding familiar as he's talking about it?
Sure. Give me a society check in the tower.
Because I feel like goblins are ones that kind of pass those stories down and would be quite proud of it.
Oddly, yes. You remember a story about the Goblin Blood Wars that was almost like the Goblin equivalent of the Human Crusades, where there was it was basically genocide attempt against the goblins, and the goblins fought back, and they essentially won the Goblin Blood Wars, and it was against forces that summoned demons. So demonomancers, daemomancers, that kind of things.
Okay, so yeah, after we'll do in character, like his fingers up, like, you're talking about the Blood Wars? The Blood Wars?
Hey, that's right. You know your history. I'm impressed with you, elf.
I have some strings. Yeah. That's rather impressive.
Yeah, well, knowing what I know now, I don't know if I would trade immortality for the worship of Gork and Mork and my people. They gave us the real powers. They gave us the power of our wag.
And Zavid, that triggers your memory a little bit. Because you remember you were talking to Belinus Toughcourt, the skeleton inside that ooze, a little bit, and you remember them talking about belief magic and something about wog. And because you couldn't remember where you'd heard that word before or what it applied to.
Wog.
It's
Wag.
an old orcish word for war. We'd cry it out at the beginning of battle. 10,000 orcs all shouting, "Wah!"
Wow, that's pretty sweet. So, your twin gods here, Work and Work, they are still hanging on by the power of your belief, and in consequence, you are still alive because of them. So, they've kind of created an immortality in you.
That's right.
As long as you live, which they have ensured that, you continue to believe in them and they continue to exist. So even without their worshippers, they remain intact.
They gave us some mighty weird powers. You seem to know a lot about this. Are you a weird boy yourself? And you're finally starting to get the sense that weird boy means cleric.
Yes, I like that. That's the best title I've ever heard for this. Yes. How do I demonstrate what I know? And then I'll like cast a cantrip of ghost sound, where I throw. Basically, there's like a sound of a ghoul next to him, and then when he spins around, it's actually behind him, and I'm like, this isn't one's easy. I'm just throwing a sound around, but I can't do that by myself. I need a little help.
Oh yeah, that looks right familiar. That does. And with what he takes his claws and he runs them across some tattoos that he has on him, and two of the symbols glow, and then he goes, "Oh, hail Gork and Mork," but it's boomingly loud, and you can tell that he had cast
Bullhorn. Yeah. I'll do mine, be like, Gork and Mork reunion tour, Galarian, let's go. I'll buy tickets.
What is your highest, religion or occultism?
Religion by far.
Throw a religion in the tower real quick. And did you say you did a bullhorn on that? That's what you were doing?
Yeah.
However you want to interpret this, I'm just going to say it mechanically. You realize that you upcast that further than you were able to cast it just now. It was louder and stronger than it should have been.
Whoa. Sorry to everyone inside this house who just...
that?
That was louder than I expected it to be. I got to say, I find a new respect with a lot of gods the more I travel. I would never abandon mine, but I see why people choose the gods they choose. There's this one about luck, Nivi Rambo Dazzle or whatever, and they're pretty cool. Like a lot of gamblers will follow that god, but also you can always ask for bad luck if you need it. People don't realize you can do that, and I did that once, and I think that god liked it.
Now that's quite interesting, that is. That's luck magic. Now I know all about belief magic. That's the power of our old wog, but luck magic, that's fantastic.
This one over here, and I point to Demirius, follows, Demirius, why don't you give this? I don't want to speak for you. This is your whole deal.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are you the champion of Orc and Gork then?
You definitely know more than I thought. Yes, I'm the chosen of Gork and Mork. Last one left.
I think we have something familiar between us then. I champion of Serenray.
That Hume sun goddess, she's beautiful. I like her. Keeps my grass green.
Yeah, She does a lot more than that, but I'm glad she helps out your sheep.
I think a big old knot like you could really stand to get a little more cunningly brutal from Gork. And you, the little quiet mouse what speaks Orcish, I think you could do fine with some brutal cunning.
Think?
And again, you see on the walls that Gork is cunningly brutal and Mork is brutally cunning. They're essentially the same god. They're just kind of a mirror coin flip of each other.
I remember we used to have long, hours-long philosophical discussions over the differences and the subtleties between brutal cunning and cunning brutality. But I noticed something. Weird boy, when you use your spell, you called out the name of Gork and Mork, and you seem surprised by his power.
Yeah, that
Well-
seems strange.
I think most gods. You're very old for your kind, right? So you've had a lot of years.
That's
Think
right.
about it this way. Let's say you're a god, right? You're even older than that, and you have all these years, and you just always have this sort of innate awareness of when your followers are praying to you and they're asking you for things, and you can just sort of with a hand wave give them some power. And you've got your own ideals, these things that you really care about and you want your followers to care about. You know, it's what you're all about. It's your portfolio as a deity. Now, imagine somebody else comes along, dedicated to another god. And you can tell that they're dedicated. They're not going to flip sides, but they offer you some sort of respect, some sort of like I see you, I recognize your power, and I like what you're about. I think as a god, if I were in that position, I would be like, you know what? Thank you for that. I'll cast your spell for you. You know, it's a little thing. It doesn't require much. It's sort of like a recognition. Real recognize real, you know? And then I do this.
You are wise beyond your years. Gork and Mork bestow their gifts on any who will choose to believe. You don't have to be a straight-up weird boy. I saw many of the sword crumpers get the gifts and the balloons. I think you might be strong enough to teach. What you think? Any of you want to learn some orc magic?
Oh,
If
Reese is just like nodding, like, do it.
V.
yeah. Before it's forgotten, fuck yeah.
All right.
Also, do I need to learn Orcish? I will if that is required.
All you need to know is wah.
Wow.
That means war.
I know
Come on,
someone
out to the field.
named Wario
All
that used to
right.
say that all the time.
I
You know,
fucking run out.
It's real nice to see people interested in crumping faces again. It's been too long since I've seen someone who wants to smush stuff with me.
You know, we actually have a friend called Smush Stuff.
Oh, that sounds like a right fine crumping orc name.
As ogre, but ogres and orcs are not so different in their philosophies at the very least.
Oh, that's for sure. I haven't spoken to an ogre in a long time. Maybe I should change my biases. Now then,
Look, if I know the past history of, the Blood Wars, and I'm rather fond of orcs, regardless of my knowledge, I think anything's possible.
it's unusual to see an elf who's so nice towards orcs, but I like you.
You're rough around the edges. That's kind of fun.
Thank
And they do
you.
another one of the battle stances of respect.
He'll do one that looks old. Like it looks like primal, just a kind of a stance.
Love that.
But then he'll say,
I think you understand that belief magic. It requires you to believe things. Now, there's a difference between saying something as a lie and saying something and truly believing it. I could,
and he picks up like a rock from the ground. He says,
I could say that this is I don't know, an acorn or an apple, but if I takes a bite out of it, it's gonna break me tusks. But if I were to truly believe it were an apple, the strangeness of Gork and Mork might change it to such. Now you see the main things that we orcs used to believe, and frankly, I think this is what led to the stereotypes of orcs being stupid, is we used to believe in the power of color. Red ones go faster. If you paint your mounts red, if you paint your armor red, you'll move faster if you believe it. Black ones is harder. If you paint, and he looks to Demir and says, you paint your armor black, and you truly believe that the black is hard, it'll be harder. Blue is the power of luck. Anything that's blue is one lucky get. If you want to crump faster, take your weapon and just smash it into someone's face faster than you know how. Oh, you got to paint it yellow. You want to be the sneakiest git around? You paint yourself purple. Because let me ask you, you ever seen a purple orc? You, and he points to Zavid, you ever seen a purple orc?
Oh,
No, you, and he points to Con, you ever seen a purple orc?
No.
Of course you haven't, because purple orcs is the sneakiest orcs. You never seen one. Now you
Okay,
see,
but what if you make the orc turn purple in the face? Does that count?
well, that's the funny thing. Embarrassed orcs tend to fade into the background. That's
that was brilliant. That was amazing.
That's why the orcs you see are always loud. They're always proud and angry. Any orc who's embarrassed and turning purple shrinks away. It's not a literal disappear. But the others, if the color white makes things more killy, you take your weapon, you paint it white, it'll kill things even faster. And of course, and he kind of, puffs himself up a little bit. The color green is the best. You paint something green, it's bound to give you good results, long as you believe it will.
Con looks at her cloak and her little hood that are green.
Yeah, that cloak is the best.
What about brown?
I hadn't thought of one for brown.
And I'm looking at I have very muddy colored clothes, very rustic looking clothes. And I'm like,
I think your clothes will fall closer under black. That is.
Appreciate it. I like earthy tones.
But basically what's happening here is he's going to teach each of you a focus spell. And if you do not have a focus pool, you will gain a focus point. If you already have a focus pool, you'll gain a focus point to a maximum of 3. And each of you gets to choose one of these spells.
Okay.
And I'm going to link all of them in the chat. The first one is Wog Deadard Black. What that is for a single action, the power of your Wog hardens your physical form, mimicking the durability of Gork. You gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage equal to your level for 1 round. So at this point, you would get 11 resistance to physical damage for a round. The second one is Lucky Blue. What that is you tip the power of your Wog tips the scales of fate in your favor, borrowing some of the brutal cunning of Mork. Your target gains advantage on their next attack, saving throw, or skill check. Alternatively, Mork can weigh the scales of a foe, giving disadvantage to their next attack, saving throw, or skill check. So for a single action and a focus point, you can give advantage or disadvantage to someone within 30 feet. Red is Fasta, which for it makes you move faster, so you get a 5-foot bonus to your movement speed, and you ignore difficult terrain. But it also works for climbing, burrowing, flying, or swim speed if you have that appropriate speed. And every other level, the movement speed increases by 5. So as a 6th level spell, that is a 15-foot bonus to movement speed for a minute, for 2 actions and a focus point. Yellow essentially gives you access to Flurry of Blows for 1 minute. And you can even use it with weapons. So that would be good for either Reese or Khan, not so much Demirius. So that's yellow. Purple is to become more sneaky. That allows you to, as a focus point, cast invisibility as the second level spell, invisibility. And then there's two more. Killy for white, which it makes the metal on your weapon gain like little bits and sharp edges and blunt pieces, and you do an additional 1 bludgeoning, 1 piercing, and 1 slashing damage for a minute, and every other level that goes up by 1. So as a 6th level spell, that's 3 bludgeoning, 3 piercing, and 3 slashing to every attack you make for a minute. And lastly, green is the best, and for a focus point as a reaction on when you're about to roll for initiative, anyone within 20 feet of you gains a +2 status to their initiative roll and gains temporary hit points equal to the spell's level, so 6 for a minute. So essentially, each of you can pick one of those to learn.
Oh, I'm choosing yellow.
Yeah,
I'm choosing Lucky Get blue.
All right, so let's see. Reese, you have, those are focus points, so I'm going to put, you said yellow, Reese?
Yep.
All right, yellow. So you've got that. And Zavid, you said lucky? Blue. So you have focus spells somewhere as well, right? Yep, there they are. Blue. Boop, there you go. Khan, what do you want?
Can't decide between yellow and green because both are very nice.
When I heard green, I'm like, that's Khan.
The best.
Okay, Khan's ego wouldn't allow her to take anything else but the best. So
that is true. That is true. All right, so I will give you
what I was thinking.
the best. There you go, Khan. Oops, that should go under.
Khan, you have magic.
I do.
Yep, you have magic, Khan.
Not
Congratulations.
just like magical crafting as a general feat that I never use.
I forget that I have detect magic half the time, so trust me, it's okay.
Zavid's usually casting detect magic. Demirius, what do you want?
That's a tough one. I'm looking between
White
or Killy.
I was looking at maybe black or red because I'm usually up front taking the damage. So
True.
Yeah, those would be good too.
And then me trying to get up faster to the combat would be beneficial too. Well, before that, I would definitely go up to the Morkengork shrine, and I think as a spare time activity, I'll make like simple Saren Ray like figurines. I'll just like wood whittle them, and I'll leave one up on there.
Awesome.
I'll say
I like that.
Gone but not forgotten. I'll leave that for him.
Love that.
Then when I join them, you know what? Let's go with the black one.
Black, dead hard. All right. So you get.
I like
that.
we all took a different one. That's cool.
I was hoping everyone would take different ones. Let's see. I'm gonna give Dani one as well because she's here. Let's see. I'm gonna give her probably. Let's see. Sneaky purple. I'm giving her purple.
I gotta work like an indigo into my wardrobe colors here to use this.
I like it. And in addition to that, all of you have gained some XP because you learned the WOG.
I knew there was a reason I wore yellow eyeshadow.
I love that. Oh yeah, I guess Mythanar can. He's here too. Why not? I have a leveled character sheet for him. He can have one as a treat. Let's go with red. There we go. All right, good enough. So as he's teaching you all the ins and outs, it's kind of a montage scene of him explaining the weird contradictory belief systems of the old orcish ways, like red ones why would painting something red make it go faster? Well, it's because if you go to a battle and you see orcs with red, they're the ones that are moving faster. Like it's all, cyclic logic, kind of circular, doesn't make much sense. That's why you have to kind of just believe it,
One thing I've learned about magic doesn't make much sense.
Now ain't that the truth? So, you said you was out here looking for Cyprigrod. I remember that bastard. He used to burn my fields and kill my sheep. Then he just stopped one day. I figured he'd moved on.
Well, he got kidnapped. A bit of karmic justice, you could say. I don't think that he's through and through evil, but I think he had some personal demons that he was faced with. I mean, think about this. You fancy a girl, and then you have a duel, an honorable duel with the one she's already in a relationship with. Not only does he survive, but your fight kills her. That would be a very big mark of shame, especially for a dragon, a part of a lineage that is known far and wide as good dragons, right? Copper dragons are known to be good. So, like, to do that, you'd feel a little bit bad about yourself. And I think, honestly, it sounds like he probably went on some benders and was, like, killing livestock as a way to let off steam, which is no excuse. I mean, that's your livestock, but I haven't heard of Cyprigrod actually doing any really evil things since then. Until getting captured, that is.
Now, you said he got captured. Do you know by whom?
What's that gnome's name? That crazy fucking...
Artifex Glastwick Finibus. It's all over that book that was given to y'all this morning.
I pulled the book out. Yeah.
His name is
fucker.
And as you're kind of flipping through it, Zavid, I'm not even going to make you roll because you were born in a cult. This is cult shit. It's very much in the guise of like a holy text, but it's got kind of, the all-knowing artifacts this, and join in the into her holy knowledge that, and like everyone must ascend to the level of the universe this. It's very, very culty.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Oh, see, you say gnomes.
Yeah, they like to build and tinker and to make objects, and every race builds their own stuff. Yeah, elves like their arts, and dwarves like their architecture. Orcs like their siege weapons and weapons of war.
Yeah.
Gnomes like to just build really interesting, creative, I should say, devices. Things that can do things that like can't be done by anyone else. And I think these gnomes are in a cult that got kicked out of their home city and ended up in Wyvernsting. And since then have been sort of getting their fingers in everything. They're trying to take over this valley or something. There's some big play here. I'm not sure what it is yet.
Now, you say they've been tinkering with unnatural things.
Well, kind of. It's the application is unethical. Yes.
They were fusing metal to animals, Zavid.
That's fucking badass. That's
he looks
cool.
over to Demirius and says,
Fusing metal to animals.
Yeah.
I think I'll best show you something. A couple of days ago, my sheep were getting attacked. I didn't know what was attacking them. I came out in the middle of the night to see what the commotion was, and it was one of the biggest squigs I ever seen. It was an albino squig. It was attacking my sheep, so I had to kill it and take it out. But it was the damnedest thing I'd ever seen. Well, I best show you to just believe it. Come in here.
and he takes you into his barn, and there's a double door that seems to be locked over on this side, and anyone who wants to can follow him. He takes a key out and he unlocks it, and there we go. Opens it up and he says,
Well, this was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Better show you.
and he opens the door, and you see up against the wall in the northern side is a massive albino squig that's laying in a pool of blood. Its left leg has been completely replaced by a mechanical leg with pistons and things. Out from the side of its chest and its rib cage area sits like almost like a car engine block that sticks out of the front of a hood with 3 pipes coming out of it. Along its back is a long pipe that Khan recognizes as a boomstick that's attached to its spine.
This is what was attacking my sheep. I think it came from upstream up the river. I didn't know what to make of this damn thing.
Yeah. I want to look through it and definitely keep an eye out for that symbol again.
Give me a
Looking for
medicine
it.
check and a perception check in the tower.
Okay. Perception?
Yep.
We saw stuff like this similar with those birds. Reese is gonna go over and do a perception and see if it's anything kind of similar to what we saw with those weird birds.
Yeah, you can work with Demirius on that, and you get the Demirius. You recognize immediately that this is of the same idea, but this is more advanced than that eagle. And Reese, you pick up on that very quickly as well. Whereas that eagle just had armor plating, this is a prosthetic leg. This thing on the side of it attaches to its lungs. This does something to maybe like increase the lung capacity. There's a gun attached to its spinal column. Like that pipe coming over the back of its head there, that is fused to its vertebrae. Coming out of its spine.
Can I do a nature check and see if maybe like this was like forced on it or if it was already kind of dying?
Sure, go ahead and give me a nature check or medicine, your choice. Okay. You can tell that a lot of the skin around specifically the part with the exhaust coming out of its ribs, you can see that it kind of started to heal over it, so it was definitely alive when all of this was done to it.
This is fucked up.
That's pretty much exactly what I thought.
This is way more than what we've seen before. They're progressing.
Yeah, there were these eagles essentially that were just mechanical and plated and not great, and this is a level of fucked up more than nope.
Weaponizing them now.
How long ago was this attack?
Oh, I think 2 days.
Ooh. And we are definitely on the clock here. By the way, a clock, new gnomish invention, very cool. It's like it keeps the time of the day.
They come up with the damnedest things, don't they?
They do, they really do. I think my first instinct, I saw this, I was like, ooh, this could make a really good minion. The more I learn about what they did to this creature, the more I feel bad about it. We should just maybe set it ablaze as like a, proper death, kind of like what we've done with other people who we found.
Yeah. Before that, is there anything we can find useful on this?
You're all you can do crafting checks in the tower for me.
Hell yeah.
Maybe get a gun out of it?
And pulls out her fucking goggles.
Yeah.
The magnification, yeah.
Okay, Zavid, you were able to aid. Reese, you critically aided. So I will, let me see. Reese is untrained, so that's 2. That's 3. So that's, okay, so Khan, you gained a 41 to your crafting check on that with all of the bonuses. So yeah, you're able to pretty quickly tell that this thing that's coming out the side, the exhaust port thing, it's an increased lung capacity. This would have allowed this thing to run longer and farther than it could potentially normally do on its own. But yeah, you're able to get this tube off the back of this thing by kind of cutting under into the bones, and you can get off of it a rudimentary boomstick. And I think I can find some in the items. Yeah. There we go. Let's see here. Big boom gun. I like that. So, Khan, I'm going to drop this in your inventory.
Yeah. Just be aware, whoever wants this, I will have to attach it to your spinal column.
No thanks, I'm good.
For what? What does it do again?
It shoots out projectiles. And I was joking, by the way. You will not have a boomstick in your spine.
You sure?
I mean,
All right, maybe not me, but I want table this, shelve this for later. I have ideas we need to talk about.
So yeah, the stats are on it for you. It's in your inventory now, Cohen. Big boom gun.
I wanna just kind of examine what some of the methodologies I did for grafting machine parts onto living parts and things like that, and kind of just see the techniques involved and be like, obviously this was like very inhumane. This thing was alive and it was in pain the whole time. But like, I'm a risky surgeon. It's just helpful for me.
Give me a medicine. It can be public, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Just want to see if I can learn anything from this.
Huh.
That's not that bad. Hey, hero point. No.
Oh yeah, you've got some hero point.
yeah.
Let's see. Let's
That
try
is
that
what they
again.
are for.
That's slightly better.
Slightly better. Yeah, you get the feeling that the surgeon who did this is far better than you. You do not think you could have done this surgery, but you're looking through, you're taking it apart, you're kind of dissecting this creature, and you're really getting a sense of the technology here. That leg is not just a replacement for the bone and the meat; it's wired up to its nervous system. And you start to get the sense that might be how sibling Grummadiah was still able to have the mind control, even though there was nothing wrong with his head. The power from those little harm casting batteries goes into their nerves.
Right into the column, the cord, and then it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. I'll kind of just think about that for a moment and be like, I am worried about our friend that we rescued. Gazla, what was her name?
Glasha.
Glasha, because she had that prosthetic arm, seemed fine, but how many others have those prosthetic arms and seem fine? Are they sleeper agents? Like, it bothers me that we didn't follow up on that. I forgot to.
You remember as you walked around the city, you saw dozens and dozens and dozens of orcs and gnomes with prosthetics, mechanical eyes, arms, legs, many, many, many of them.
I would like to immediately send. How far out are we from the city right now, actually?
Several miles, maybe 2 hours trip by squig.
We need to get to the mountain range at the end of the night. And I know Dani has Shadow Walk. So I'm wondering if we have enough time to get back to the city.
Between Shadow Walk and my basically like we are untrackable ability, we should
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, let's hard travel back to the city and just talk with the leader and follow up and say, look, we're about to leave for, the rescue mission of your daughter. However, you've got a bigger problem on your hands. This is essentially what I would like to bring up if everyone's cool with that.
Sure, works for me. Nelson. So yeah, you have your sort of double ability that you and Dani have worked out with Shadow Walk and what was the one you were casting? It's like Safe
Wanderer's Guide, I
Wanderer's
think.
Guide, that's it.
Yeah. Safe Passage is for a smaller stretch where there's traps and you can avoid them. Wanderer's Guide is more like overland exploration and it gives you like a safe path.
Got it. Yeah, so you're able to quickly get together and cast this spell, and as you're looking through the Shadow Walk, you're able to cast your spell and see the safe path back to Wyvern Sting, and with very little effort you're able to get right back to the center of the market. You kind of just appear, but thankfully there's enough hustle bustle that nobody really notices that all of you just kind of appear there.
Oh, thank goodness, Warden stuff in shadow.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Do we use the Shadowhawk to get back? I thought we were going to use that to get to the mountains.
Oh, if that's what you're doing, that's fine too. Then it just takes you a
Yeah.
little while to ride back to Wyvern Sting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's only been like 4 hours in the day, so
Mhm.
it'd be more like around noon at this point.
True,
So the day's
yes.
still young, and then from
Yeah.
here we could shadow walk and have most of the day to like explore
Gotcha.
the mountains.
Okay, yes, I understand. So yeah, you're able to use your safe passage spell to get back to Wyvern Sting with very little issue. You don't come across any bandits on the road or anything like that. It does kind of jog away from the river, you do notice, but yeah, you managed to get back to Wyvern Sting fairly easily, and the guards don't give you any issue at the gates because they've seen you at this point. They saw you just 3 or 4 hours ago. So they let you back into the city. And where are you headed precisely?
I would like to go straight to the leader, unless anyone wants to go to like the market first and get the colors we're missing so we could cast our focus spells.
That's not a bad idea.
Sure. So going to the market, you remember that there is a general goods store with a weird little guy called the Gnome Depot.
That fucking...
Oh yeah, you were
Yep.
here for that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
We
Boop,
barge
there you are.
in, and I, yo,
Oh, well, hey there. What can I do for you?
first of all, thank you for your advice the other day. I found what I was looking for,
Ah,
but now
wonderful.
I need something completely different now.
Oh, exciting. What can I do for you?
See what I'm wearing? I need this, but in blue.
Oh, yes, of course.
And he bounds off and starts, pulling stuff and throwing it behind him in this little area. over in the
Bounds
corner.
away.
And he comes up with kind of a traveler's cloak, like a long, sort of similar outfit to what you're wearing, and a big bottle. And he says,
We have many dyes of any color. Look from far away Feylands. Look, of course, any blue you want.
and he's actually, the how do I hold all these limes meme? It's like that, but with bottles of blue dye that he's bringing up to you.
Okay, I'm like looking and perusing, and I'm like, the important thing is that it is blue. I prefer dark blue, all right? Because when I'm traveling at night, I like to blend in. It's a helpful camouflage, just naturally. But the blue is important. No turquoise, no sea green type of, on the border. And it can't be purple. We have to be clear on this. It cannot be purple. It has to be blue, true blue.
True blue. Of course.
And he throws a couple of the other ones back, like,
Cornflower, no. Navy, no.
and then,
Dusk light blue.
and he hands over kind of a bottle.
That's
of dye.
awesome.
Thank you. It just came to me.
But what of the rest of you? How can I serve? What do you need?
Do you have any black?
Black, of course.
Anta black. Black as night. Black as pitch.
Yes. Neferion black, of course.
And he hands you a jar that you can barely even see your face in. It's so dark.
And then
It's almost like a shoe polish.
I want to hand it to Gazcole and have him dip his hand into it, and then put his hand on the chest plate of my armor, and then run it across it, so it's like his handprint with like claw marks going down it.
That's
Ooh.
rad as hell. So Gazco will definitely do that, and he'll put it all up in his fist and say, "Welcome to the Orc army now, boyo." And so you have this big clawed fist or handprint going down the breastplate of your armor now. Big black handprint.
Does your sword glow too? Does it like illuminate?
I don't think so.
It has celestial written on it though.
Yeah,
Like,
so that might have a
carved
minor
And so it kind of glows
glow
in
to
the
it, but
lettering.
it's not like a torch or anything.
Okay. I was just thinking it's gonna look really cool having black armor, but then glowing weapons and shit around you. So it pops out more. It's gonna look really cool.
That's very true.
Yes, you look
Yeah.
ready for battle now, huh? And for you, my Asoki friend, what can I get you?
Any dark green that you have. Do you carry any like fur dye?
Fur dye. Yes. Of course. And he
I've been
runs
thinking
around.
about getting a sleek like right here.
He pulls up some and he says,
Yes. This is what we call the manic panic. It comes from the favorite.
and he hands it over to you. It's a bright Nintendo green.
Just have like a green
Yes.
mohawk.
It's like gack. Yeah.
Love it.
It's thick like gack. Then looking at the tall elf, he says,
No, what color for you?
He wants red, the blood color of angry men.
Yes, of course. I think I might have a deep wine. Yes. The blood wine from the Mammoth Realms.
and he pulls up a big, like a bottle of deep red wine. And he hands it over. He says,
This stains everything. You can't get it out. You can't lose.
I, on the other hand, do not wish for dye.
Oh, something extra special then. What need ye?
Me and Yellow don't get along, but I would request maybe your golden sunshine embellishments.
Yes, I think I have just the thing.
and he runs up over to these vases, these pots up here, and he comes back with one that's like a little small little thing with a lid, and he says,
This can be applied to the eyes. It is a makeup from the Assyrian lands. It is gold and from the worship of Ankasat.
Perfect.
and you are extremely familiar with what he's talking about because that's where you're from. So he unknowingly gave an Egyptian makeup.
Yeah.
That's essentially what just happened.
It's okay. You wouldn't be able to tell. I'm kind of light, so it's.
Yes, I think that will bring out your natural color. What else for any of you? What all can I get for it? Is there anything else?
Dani needs something, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. What did she get?
Purple.
Purple. Yeah. He will get her.
Yes.
And he goes and gets her a small like traveler's cloak that is made from the fur of a purple bugbear.
Seems very appropriate.
Yes.
Purple's related to royalty a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
True.
Will that be all then?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for your patronage and your time. Please come back to the Gnome Depot anytime.
Thank you so much.
Not likely. Goodbye.
First door opening up. It's called Blows. They're not really great.
Oh, this sounds like it from the name.
Mm-hmm.
Rally ho!
Goodbye.
As I walk out of that place, I'm like, I hate that guy. He's a prick. Anyway, let's go see our chieftain.
You save big gold. You save big gold. Save big gold, act like nerds.
All right, I will just drop you in here. That'll be fast. The guards, again, they recognize y'all because you were here just this morning, or last night, rather. So you're able to get back into Fort Hundux with very little issue. And he looks at you and says,
Lux Et Umbra, back so soon. What need you?
Our intention is to travel tonight to where we believe your daughter is most likely held. But before we do this, there is something very important that you need to do for your people.
Of course.
We talked to the members of that weird church in, the refugees, right? They're a cult, and their cult leader does not mean well for your people. The prosthetics are able to connect to people's nervous systems and control their movements and their minds. And I produce one of the chips. I say, these little things can be overloaded with a little bit of negative energy. I can use this because of my god, but if you can figure out a way to overload these, they can be severed from the person's nervous system. Meaning you don't have to rip people's prosthetics off as long as you destroy these first. They can still use their limbs. It just won't, it might not be as effective or something for a little bit. But it can be remotely controlled. And you have a lot of people with prosthetics, so that would be very bad if, say, the cult decided they wanted to overthrow you or something like that.
It is extremely disconcerting. Thank you for bringing this information to my attention. There are hundreds within the city who have benefited from the Artificers Without Borders. That is...
I think you need to be very stealthy about this. I think you need to prioritize anybody who is a warrior or a soldier who has something like this first. Summons them. Don't tell them what it's about. Just summons them. And then once you have them, have someone who is able to use negative energy. I don't know if you have that ability. That might be a big problem.
Yes, we have shaman and clerics within the city.
And just targeted overload just on the chip, and then it's done. Don't even tell them what you're doing. Don't let them know that that's what you're doing. And just quietly.
The false premise of an upgrade or perhaps maintenance on it.
I see.
Yes. You have to spin doctor this so that it doesn't get back to them, because the moment that they realize that they are losing all of these people from their influence, they might turn them on. So you want to keep this as quiet as possible.
Of course, Shaki, I will leave that to you. Subterfuge has never been my claim to fame.
Yes, of course, darling. I shall come up with a proper cover story. We do appreciate your information. Thank you for this.
And we do not want to waste any more time. We just needed to let you know this before we go, because we might tonight. What we do might set this off, so we wanted to give you some time to prepare yourselves.
Very good. I shall summon all of the warriors who have gained prosthetics from the artificers. I will have Shaki summon all of her clerics. Thank you. You have done much for my city.
I would also
a banquet to gather them. I feel like that'll be the most inconspicuous.
Yes.
I would
Soldiers
also
walk on their stomachs.
Yes, soldiers are big, but also do not underestimate gnomes and the tinkerers. Having them, if they have any prosthetics, out of that system means you can use their expertise to help you when the rest do flip. You can lean on them and say, all right, what do you recommend that we do for them? They might be able to give you answers you don't have.
Perhaps some sort of Veterans Day?
Yes.
Veterans Day banquet, yes.
A veterans celebration. Brilliant. That is a wonderful cover. Yes, we will announce it.
I'll yell loudly like, we so appreciate your hospitality. You are a gracious leader of the city. We shall go now.
Bye.
Yes, go with the blessings of the city.
Your city's awesome. There's nothing bad going on here.
I love this city so much. This is great. I can't wait to
Everyone's so trustworthy.
I think we should move our base of operations here at some point. We should just move everybody over.
We should.
I'm talking the whole town, the Plague Stone, like move the whole Etrin's Folly, actually. Sorry, Etrin's Folly, move it all. And the Plague Stone. Fuck it, we'll move the whole thing.
How long have we been here in this area?
Like a day, not very long.
Okay. Damn. Okay. Would I be able to use underground network?
For what?
Gathering information?
Sure. I'm interested where this is going. What are you doing? What are you trying to find out?
We know this is a seedy underbelly and a seedy underground, especially with this whole thing. I have underground network, and I'm connected to groups that know what's going on in the streets, and I can get information out of them quickly. When I use society to gather information in an area where you have a network, typically a settlement where you've spent at least a week or spent a day of downtime building a network faster, you can contact a member of the groups and get information directly from them. It usually takes about an hour, but it doesn't draw as much attention as gathering information in the public might. The check and information gained otherwise follow the normal rules of gather information. In addition, if you have successfully consulted the underground network, you get a +1 circumstance bonus to the next check to recall knowledge you attempt about the subject you are gathering information on, or a +2 circumstance bonus. If you're using the underworld lore for this check, the GM might change the lore skill related to the network depending on your location and
Okay.
specifics of the network you're tapping into.
All right, so give me a society check in the tower. I like where this is going.
Yeah. I realize, ooh, wait, this actually might come in handy now.
Yeah, this is a good time to use that. Like Zavid said last time, it's like you guys picked up a rock and just found shit underneath. What are you trying to find out specifically?
So I'm trying to find out more about this organization that is clearly messing up animals, its people, I want to find the nitty-gritty details that could give us a leg up on this situation, because we know what fucked up stuff that they're doing, but we need more information to know what we're going to try to be prepared against.
Sure. Actually, and with that roll and with what happened the night before, Mythanar tells you he might know someone who has been dealing with the Artificers Without Borders. He tells you that
you fucked the information right out of him. You did it.
you did it.
Baby.
You did it. Congrats. So he tells you that there's an armorer in town who has been providing for that cult. I'm just going to call it what it is. But he is not a member. But he's been making them armor. And Mythanar tells you that it's at a place in the market called the Arm and Hammer.
Stop it! But don't! Once when we're out of the depot, I'm like, we need to make another stop.
No?
Yeah, sometimes this place can be a little bit, like, refreshing. It'll be nice smelling. I've been told it clears things up that kind of stink. And this stinks. Because we turned that rock full of crap. There's a place called the Arm and Hammer. I remember hearing about, and Reese just kind of like casually just like walks forward in a direction and doesn't know where they're going.
Mythanar kind of walks behind you, putting a hand on the small of your back and directs you to the right.
It just looks like flirting. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. But eventually you do come to this small blacksmith's place. You recognize the telltale smoke coming from the smokestack. Entering inside, you see there's a burly orc man hard at work at an anvil, and he looks at you all and says, welcome to the Arm and Hammer. What can I do for you today?
Oh. Well, we're about to venture out, and been told this is the best place for the wares.
Well, you're not wrong. I make the best armor anywhere in Belton.
And it's always very refreshing. Like, I don't know how you do it, but like every time somebody walks past with your craftsmanship, it's like fresh. It's like they never got blood on them.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you. You can always tell a Drekthar piece.
We really can.
So, what can I armor you with?
Well, I need some more gold embellishments on my armor. And like Reese isn't wearing like a whole lot of armor, but it's just like simple plate stuff, but enough to protect him because he's fast. He doesn't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
So he's gonna use this guise to get information out of him by also getting more gold for himself.
Great. So he's definitely into affixing some like filigrees to your armor, that kind of thing. That's not very difficult for him. But what kind of information are you trying to get out of him? And roll me a society in the tower.
Yep.
Is anyone assisting?
Sure. Let
Okay.
me see if I'm even. I mean, I guess I got
Either roll's really good or really bad, so
the untrained
Yeah.
thing. but-
especially with
Yeah.
important rolls.
Anyone who wants to assist Reese in trying to get info from this blacksmith, you're welcome to throw in an aid in the chat.
Society.
Yeah, society. Okay, con critically helped. So
Aha.
that's a 4 plus your 1.
I helped.
So Demirius, you do not help. But thankfully, you don't critically fail. Zavid, you help a little bit, and Con, you definitely help more.
I like armor.
So
Out of character, who has the gun?
good question. I think Con is the one I put it in the inventory, but
Okay,
anyone
good,
can
good,
have
good,
it.
good. That is exactly the person I want to have that too.
Fantastic. So yeah, Con, you critically succeed in helping Reese with his society check here. So Reese, I'm adding a +4 to your already massive check. So how do you three go about getting information from this blacksmith?
Well, while he's getting the embellishments on that, I just, he's working away, he's tinkering, and we're doing small talk.
Yeah.
Reese just goes, actually, my friend over here, found something. It kind of looks similar to your designs, but it's like kind of different. We came here for your lovely, embellishments, because I'm not looking good enough. I just need a little bit more, something with more zhuzh.
Well, every bit of armor needs a little bit of embellishment. No battlefield is bright without feathers and plumes.
As he's still stitching away furiously at this gold.
So
Or spikes.
Spikes
spikes,
are
yeah.
wonderful. They all make
Yeah.
anything look more orky.
I want to look like the edgiest fucking dude on the battlefield. Just sorry, small talk. Like, if I'm gonna be on the battlefield in armor, I want spikes more than I want
Horns.
armor.
Horns
Yeah.
and spikes, yes.
Impractical horns that someone could like grab your head and it would be
Oh,
bad.
yes.
But if you're good enough, that'll never happen.
That's right.
And Reese just kind of like nudges Khan to like put the gun on the table.
Oh yeah. This is what we had found when we were out on a walk.
Whoa. Well, now. That's interesting.
Yeah, not a single spike on it. Can you believe it?
And he kind of picks it up and he's looking at it like, and give me perception checks in the tower.
Will do.
Oh crap! That was
A big boom gun.
I didn't mean to do that. Hold on.
That's fine.
Big boom gun.
Yeah, he's looking at it and he says,
Well, now, this is a strange contraption. I mean, this plate down here at the base, looks like,
and he's like flipping it over and turning it and looking at this thing. He says,
I don't recognize this rod, this hollow.
and he kind of like looks down it and
I say, do whatever you do.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever point that empty end at anyone. That is, we saw this thing in action. That is the weapon end of this thing. It could kill a person in a single hit if you're not
We still have
careful.
plates.
and yeah, he's looking at it and he says,
But this part down at the bottom that this hollow pipe connects to, this looks strangely.
and he kind of wanders off in speech and physically. And he goes over to this corner here and he turns around one of his armor statues and it goes,
Well, I'll be damned.
and he says, he looks and he points to it and it's missing a back piece like that should go across its back. And he says,
Hey, my internet cut out.
oh yeah,
All I heard was that this looks strangely, and I didn't hear anything after.
okay. That was kind of all he said, is it looks strangely, and he got up and wandered off. But he noticed that it looked like the back of one of the pieces of his armor, like as though someone had taken a chunk of it out. And he kind of holds it up and sticks it up against it, like while holding the pipe part, the boomstick part, and it fits like a puzzle piece. I think you might have a couple, yes, Reese.
I'm gonna pull some of the stuff because Reese just gathers things like a goblin they are. and takes some of the plates out from the eagles, and like, I'm like, then how about these?
What in the blazes? And he's looking at them. He says, "These were forged by my hands, but
They fell from the sky from birds.
birds.
Big
Someone
birds.
is putting my armor on birds?"
You have any prosthetics?
No, he does not. That none that you can see anyway. And he's wearing just like in the picture I showed, he's just got like a smock. So you can see his arms, you can see his face, you can see his legs. He's none that you can see anyway.
I do ask it out loud.
Oh,
do
you
you
do
have
ask?
any prosthetics?
Prosthetics? No, I lost my pinky when I was a chip of my pinky when I was a child.
And he holds it up and he's missing one knuckle of his right pinky, but it's not replaced or anything. It's just a nub.
Okay.
As far as prosthetics, no.
So, and you don't make prosthetics?
No, I make arms and armor, mainly armor.
Right.
I'm a defensive blacksmith.
Right. So that is okay, very interesting. So what we're finding is stuff that you recognize as your own make, but repurposed in ways you never would use them.
That is right. I would not have put this on a bird. This strange weapon on the back of... why would I put a weapon on the back of armor? This makes no sense to me.
You have that Cassandri, the book that's with the symbol. You can recognize that.
I have seen this symbol about town, and I have done business with some of the people of this church. Their coin spends like anyone else's, but I have never been there.
Do you know where they are?
No, unfortunately, no. I receive orders, work orders, in the post, and I send them out. I have not actually met face to face with anyone from the organization. Now that I think about it.
So when you send them to the organization, there's an address?
Well, let me see. And he kind of...
Or perhaps a messenger
flips through
that
his stuff.
frequents.
Yeah.
And he's trying to... he finds a little address and he says,
Well, it looks like it gets sent to a courier to the south. Sort of a halfway, a second delivery person. I do not know where it would go from there.
We want to make sure your name is still good. We want to look into this.
Yes, I appreciate that. I do not want my name to be besmirched by something like this. I create functional art here.
Your art is being weaponized in the most gruesome of ways we've seen.
It is very disconcerting.
If you can covertly stop business, if it won't hurt. You know what? How much do they usually give you?
A fair market price, but...
Name a number.
Well, I tend to get 200 to 300 gold per month to work for them.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something real nice for you so you stop working with them and just find a way to lie to them. And Reese takes out, hold on, let me just check my inventory. How many platinum do I have?
y'all have a ton of gold.
A ton of gold?
It's obscene.
Okay, I have 58 platinum. I give him 5 platinum. Don't work with them again. This should cover your year and on.
Well,
yes, it should.
This is
Platinum shit. Okay.
This is a matter of the security of Wyvern's thing, and we are here on the authority. And I present that writ that I got from before, like we're on the authority of the chieftain. So we're on the up and up. This isn't a criminal thing. You are doing a service to the city by keeping quiet, okay?
Understood.
He's reading it and he sees the sigil of Hundred's half man, and he recognizes that he's done business for his military.
They also have a big veterans affair going on for a lot of the amputees, and that's why our friend asked if you made anything for them, because we were wondering if you would probably attend that banquet if you wanted to, just honor what your art. But since you don't, that's fine. But yes, we typically want to keep this quiet because we don't want you in danger, and we don't want this town in danger more so.
Yes, I understand. I appreciate that.
And since we're here, you wouldn't happen to have any potency or resiliency runes, would you?
I actually just might. And which one specifically are you looking for? Because he probably does. For armor, this guy would be the one to
Probably
have
just
it.
the +1 armor potency, and perhaps armor resiliency.
Sure.
regular.
Resilient?
No shit.
Not greater resilient? Oh, that's 14th level. Yeah, you wouldn't have
Yeah, I
that.
wouldn't be able to get it.
+1 potency. Yes, that's a level 5 item. Yeah, I absolutely have a potency runes for armor. And you need a resilient.
if possible.
Resilient. Yeah. What does resilient do again? That's +1 to saving throws. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So you are
This one,
currently
pick this
wearing.
Dread half plate.
Oh, you have +2 resilient half plate, so your runes are actually better than what he
Oh,
has.
then never mind. I didn't.
Yeah. Your armor is +2 resilient dread half plate.
All right. Well, does anybody else like some of these?
Yes, do you require upgrades to your armor?
Can you infuse them with what you're making?
I absolutely can. Let's see here.
And he's let's see, what is your armor, Reese? You're wearing +2 breastplate. So yeah, you don't have a resilient rune, so he would definitely be able to sew in a resilient rune. Resilient breastplate. Then let me add that to your saves. +1, +1, +1. Cool. Does anyone else need a resilient rune?
I don't know if I have what I have on runes. Since I'm very non-combat, or at least non-like melee.
Mm-hmm. I think you do have one piece of armor. It's like a scarf or something. Yeah, the battle mage scarf.
Does
So he
Khan
can.
have anything?
Does who?
Does Khan?
You're muted, Eldritch.
I was trying to figure out what I have because I have so much stuff in my inventory.
Yeah, I'm looking, and Zavid, you did not have a resilient rune, so I added one to you.
Oh,
Khan.
there we go. I have +1 studded shadow leather.
Yeah, so you could get a resilient rune as well.
Ooh.
Resilient.
Force strength, force stand, leather belt. Level 18. Sorry. Old internet shit.
So I think that's all of you, right? Yeah.
Oh, we're happy to give you these, include these runes for you.
Do you actually also know anything about heat blasters?
Heat blasters. I mean, I work with anvils mainly.
Oh, okay. I know there's sometimes a little bit of heat when it comes to, hammering into.
A little bit. I just mainly work on the bellows.
Oh, cool. I'm just curious. This is an interesting art.
Yes, thank you. It's a fascinating old art. Is there anything else I can do for you while you're here?
Reese is fine.
Anyone else? No?
No,
Great.
I think I'm good.
No. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so you're trying to you shadow walk south, right? I'm trying to remember what the plan is from here.
Yeah, I believe so. We're going to Wanderer's Guide from Reese, and then Danny's going to use Shadow Walk to get to where I believe the Crater Lake is, or at the very least, close by, so that we can meet up with Wisp in a timely manner.
Sure.
Trying to fast travel here.
Yeah, no problem. So you're able to kind of travel quickly through the Shadow Realm, the Shadow Plane, using Danny's spell, and you're trying to be careful using Reese's magic and using Zavid's magic, and you do eventually come out of it. It's not a very long trek because of Danny's magic. It decreases the travel time by immense amounts, and you do eventually come to sort of a fork in the road that's wooded on every other side, and I'm hoping that loaded up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and let's see. Oh, there he is. Ugh. Sorry about that.
I missed it. Oh, yay!
But you are, as you eventually come down to this area, Zavid, you can just feel him. You know that Wisp is very nearby and does eventually come up to you and is kind of hiding in this tree.
I will, in Aklo, call to it. Those who recognize the language of Aklo, spoken by evil creatures, so it's associated with evil, but it's not an evil language. It's just a language. So it's like, kill, 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 kill. Kill, murder, maim, destroy.
Cannibalism and death.
And
yes.
just waves and goes
Genocide, genocide.
And it is a very, very cute spider. Reese is, you're still pretty new to it. All the rest of you have known Wisp a long time.
Doesn't mean I like it.
I just, say stab, stab, stab in greetings.
War crimes. I like that Aklo is just bad words like evil acts in common. But I'll talk to Wisp and just say, have you noticed any creatures coming in and out of this area?
Yes, many. There are strange, large creatures that have been in the woods. I've had to be very stealthy as I have moved.
Were these creatures drafted with metal?
Oh yes, much metal.
Okay. When was the last time that they came through and the frequency of their visits?
They come through very frequently. I think they are on a guard. Guard rotation.
So when was the last time they came through here?
40 minutes ago, perhaps.
Are they due for another pass by, you think?
Very soon, yes.
All right, we might need to hide then.
Yes.
I'll tell everybody.
Hide.
There's a guard coming through, like some mecha animals. We need to hide. Do we have a good way of doing this?
There are many trees, so yeah, you'd be able to hide in trees, that kind of thing. Or if you have magic spells, or if you have other options that are different than that.
I'm going to climb up this tree to join my spider, and I'm going to...
Or we just put them out of their misery, and I'll run in the middle of the road and start screaming.
No.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, if Javiris does that, I'd be like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Wild card.
Just
Right.
because you're stronger.
We were just saying earlier about how he's going to be the one to snap.
I'm going to... I turn to them like, we still have Warden step on, so you guys are going to stay with me, and we're going to hide in the trees, and they don't notice us in the nature.
Okay. The tough part is going to be getting Ares up a tree. Arwen is a cat that can climb, but Ares,
True.
Someone's going to need to like hoist that little pup up.
Yeah,
Reese
I'll
has
help with
it.
that.
He's got muscles, he just doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
Gazcool would help with this too.
Definitely,
Danny would be
and
leading.
Mythanar. Mythanar as well, because
Yeah.
he's 6'8". Gazco would help with that as well. So with all of you helping, you're able to get Ares up in a tree. You're not sure how stealthy he's being, but he's up there. And we'll put Arwen in a tree here. Let's put Mythanar up in
Give them
this
something
one.
to chew on, like some mutton or whatever jerky we got.
I also
quiet.
I give some mutton to Wisp as a reward for being a good boy.
Nice.
There's some
And
raw sheep. They're good.
start munching that down. The mutton real good. Let's see. Demirius, what do you do? Do you go to a tree? Where do you go?
I don't know how
I thought I told you I was standing in the middle of the road and screaming.
Oh, that's right. I thought that was a joke, but no, I like it.
No, no. I'll get in a tree with I guess.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So everyone give me perception checks in the tower.
Perception checks.
And then Reese, give me a stealth. And Khan, I assume you probably want to use your own stealth because it's higher than
Sure.
Reese's. So Reese and Khan, give me stealth.
Ignore my other one.
Oh wait, no, not in the chat. No.
That's okay. So yeah, that's Con. You're fairly certain you are unhidden. And didn't you say you just got a new feat for stealth? Didn't you?
Yes.
Oil senses.
Oil senses. Yes. So okay, cool, got it. And so the rest of you are under Reese's stealth check there. Let's go like that. Cool. All right. Got it. So you're up in the trees for a little bit, and eventually you do hear kind of a rustling down the road, and eventually, oh, I didn't grab the image. Eventually you do see two very large, what appear to be wolves start walking down the road there, this dirt road, and I can show them here. And they do appear to both be missing legs, having metal parts sticking out everywhere. They've got a rib cage made of metal. Their claws are sharp and metal, and they appear to be walking down this road. And sure,
Can a canine droid?
Canandroid, yes.
An android.
And so they're walking down this road, and then they kind of stop, and they begin to growl a little bit. And I think, and well, let's see. They look up. They start looking left and right. They come up to this tree, and one of them starts to bark up this tree. And I would like everyone to roll initiative, and I think that's where we're going to end tonight.
Okay, I was gonna say once they start like sniffing a tree, I was just gonna drop on top of one of them.
Sure, but let's get everyone's initiative rolls in, and that's where we're going to stop.
Would you allow me to use stealth initiative?
Yes, anyone who wants to use stealth initiative can.
Yay.
Damn, Demirius, good initiative.
Yeah.
Stealth initiative. Oh, yeah.
Con still beats me.
Maybe.
Oh shit.
Oh, nat 20 on Reese though.
Oh,
Fantastic. But unfortunately, nat 20s don't help with initiative checks.
no, they don't. But it just gives me good vibes for the next round.
That's right. And just a reminder to myself and to Demirius, the very first thing is going to be Demirius's battle cry. So let's try to remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where we're going to stop today. These two guard dogs coming up to try and attack the party along the road. We hope everyone will join us next time. I'm not sure if it'll be next week or not. We've got Jasper's game day coming up, so there's going to be a lot of chaos for the Bard's Playhouse coming up the next month or so. But we'll meet when we meet. We'll try to make it soon, and we'll see where this goes from here. Hope everyone will join us. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Alright. Oh shit. Alright. Oh, we're good.
We out? All right, we're good.
A glass cannon is a character that can put out obscene damage very quickly, but is also incredibly frail. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon. Glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon. I'm a glass cannon. If your objective is blatant confrontation and you hate us, have greatly underestimated my station. I dominate with divination, I conquer with conjuration. I'm bonkers with evocation, I'm astonishing at abjuration. Patiently waiting for my invitation to help alleviate my already unbelievable reputation. No conversation, the brains of the operation, the pain of the population contained in a concentration of a spell slot. I got 27 in the clip, missiles emitting from my fingertips like warships. That's a handgun, damn son, shooting from the hip. Only one using telekinesis to get a grip. Cantrips waiting to be cast off. Prismatic wall, make them all blast off. Cackling my ass off, incapacitating them with laughter. Yazzik ain't the caster you wanna go after. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon. Glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, can get weird and witness your worst fears in a 30-foot sphere. I don't care if you're a barbarian or a cavalier. Kick it into high gear, let me make myself clear. The pioneer, I can make your peers disappear. Send them to the ethereal plane as if they were never here. Cheers roaring in my ears, dearly revered. I'm happy to domineer any volunteers. Sincerely out of control, top of the totem pole. My cone of cold is freezing them fire trolls whole. I got the strap, just looking to trap souls. I've been snapping my firebolt, leaving smoldering holes. It's incredibly difficult not to acknowledge me. I am a prodigy, you'll read about me in your mythology. No apologies, I'm impossible to demolish. Consider this admonishing, second guessing my polish, you bitch.
I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon. You don't even want a dose of the smoke, so I'm recommending that you never try to provoke. A glass cannon, my glass cannon. I'm the one that gets it done in the clutch, so you know I never really gotta worry too much. I'm a glass cannon, glass cannon.
The general strategy is to either destroy the enemy before being attacked, or to hide behind